I'm Rich Thomason. Shooting last evening in the Pacific Northwest has left 3 people dead, 4 others injured, a 2-year-old boy among those wounded.
Gunfire broke out during a food festival at an events complex near the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. That's what a fire department spokesperson says. Police are investigating the incident. Washington State Governor Bob Ferguson says his prayers are with the families of the victims and the first responders.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says that 1 suspect's in custody, police looking for a 2nd suspect. Investigators believe the 2 had been shooting at each other. They say there's no ongoing threat to the public. The on-again, off-again exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran is off again. Both sides taking a pause amid efforts to restart talks on an interim ceasefire deal.
It's a familiar feeling for oil traders as they start another week navigating the economic uncertainty created by this conflict. This time, crude oil prices have fallen on the hope that this military pause might lead to a return to a more permanent ceasefire and therefore a rebound in tanker movement through the Strait of Hormuz. But precedent suggests that this may be temporary. All of the key issues, including Iran's control over the strait, its missile and nuclear programs, they remain unresolved, which means no respite when it comes to higher costs for millions worldwide.
The BBC's Nick Marsh. Yes, another summer heat wave, so-called heat dome, settling in across parts of the Midwest and the South, putting at least 40 million Americans under extreme heat warnings. Searing heat and smothering humidity, driving feels-like temperatures well above 100 degrees. On Wall Street, the Dow futures, NASDAQ, and the S&P futures all sharply higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
A raging wildfire in southwest France has forced the evacuation of 55,000 more people. This brings the total to 220,000 in one region alone, as flames have crept closer to the wine region city of Bordeaux. Firefighters and soldiers are battling to slow the fire's progression toward Bordeaux. In Spain, authorities oversaw evacuations because of wildfires in the Valencia region. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated there. And west of Madrid, the Spanish capital, gusting winds fed the flames in France as well. Russian ballistic missiles struck Kiev over the weekend, igniting fires, wounding at least 3 civilians. Local officials report attacks in other parts of Ukraine killed at least 2 people. These strikes follow Ukraine's successful drone attacks, which have stalled Russian advances and increased the pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. In eastern Ukraine, Ukrainian drone strike reportedly killed 4 civilians. Townhall.com. Want to join the Millionaires Club? A new global wealth report says the United States is the place to be, creating more millionaires last year than any other country.
According to the UBS Global Wealth Report 2026, the U.S. added more than 441,000 new millionaires in 2025, nearly half of all newly created millionaires worldwide. The United Kingdom was a distant second with 43,000, followed by France. The report highlights continued growth in American wealth creation despite ongoing economic challenges. Ken Lorman reporting.
Shares of Chinese memory chip maker CXMT have soared as the company began trading in Shanghai and mainland China's biggest IPO in recent years. CXMT, founded 10 years ago, raised at least $8.6 billion with that initial public offering. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code GODZILLA for free activation.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
Lifestyles Unlimited is a real estate education group that gives you the roadmap and resources to start building income through real estate. You'll learn practical strategies for using investment properties to create extra income and make informed decisions, one step at a time. Join today for just $297. That's a 60% savings off the regular price of our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
Well, happy Monday morning, everybody. Let's get the week off to a good start. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at, among other things, weather and sports. We'll start as we always do with where I am in the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia. High today of 85 here in the RVA, a low of 70 tonight. Right now, the temperature 67. Drizzly. Downpour earlier on the way into work for me. Squirrels won 2 over the weekend, lost 1 to Hartford. And in D.C., you're looking at a high today of 88 with spotty storms, a low tonight, also of 70. Right now, the temperature similarly 67 degrees in the nation's capital. The Nats win a home series against the Diamondbacks. They'll welcome Toronto to town tonight, starting at 6:45 p.m. Rookies already at Commanders camp. Vets report tomorrow. In Atlanta, High today of 92 with showers and storms. A low this evening of 74. Right now the temperature already 78 degrees in Georgia. Braves win their weekend series at Baltimore. They're at the Mets next. 7:10 first pitch tonight. Rookies already at Falcons camp for first-year coach Kevin Stefanski. Vets report tomorrow. Nashville, you're looking at a high today of 91 with showers. A low tonight of 75. Right now the temperature 72 and rainy in Middle Tennessee. Like the Falcons, the rookies already at Titans training camp for first-year coach Robert Saleh. Vets report tomorrow. Philadelphia, you're looking at a high today of 86 with possible storms. A low tonight of 71 still with possible storms. Right now the temperature similarly 71 degrees in eastern Pennsylvania. The Phils win yesterday but dropped the weekend series to the Yanks at home. They're at Miami next. 6:40 first pitch tonight. Eagles camp begins tomorrow. Morgantown, you're looking at a high of 86 with heavy storms. Sorry about that. A low of 69 tonight, and right now the temperature is 64 degrees in Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Last but certainly not least, my Yinzers in the 412. You're looking at a high today of 88 with heavy storms. A low this evening of about 65. Right now the temperature, a very comfortable Mario Lemieux, 66. The Buccos come back to win yesterday but lose their series at home against the division rival Cubs. The D-backs come to town fresh off their series with the Nats. First pitch tonight, 6:40 p.m. Steelers return to Latrobe for training camp tomorrow. New England offers Christian Gonzalez the richest quarterback deal in NFL history. The Rams continue to woo Aaron Donald to return from retirement. And because this broke right after we finished on the air on Friday, LeBron signs a 2-year deal with the Sixers. Says he has more still to give and prove to the game of basketball. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. And now for a few words to the wise. Last week, we began to discuss why word choice philosophically matters. Because a word conveys a series of ideas, and we want those ideas to make sense. This is especially true of the words that we select to label ourselves with, as they will have broader implications about who we are and what we stand for. Now, a couple of weeks ago, if you recall, we resolved that democracies, direct and indirect, are forms of tyranny. As a republic, strictly speaking, is simply an indirect representative form of democracy, a republic, too, is tyrannical in nature. America's goodness came not because she was a democracy, she isn't, or because she's a republic, she's really not, or because she had a constitution for having a constitution's sake. No, America's goodness resulted from her founding documents' acknowledgement and advocacy of man's rights. Well, if all of this is the case, here's the question for the day. Why would we want political parties named Democrat and Republican? For one, these two labels virtually mean the same thing. Having opposing parties named Democrat and Republican would be like having them named Aqua and Teal. And notice that I chose 2 shades of blue there. On that note, labeling oneself as a Democrat or Republican does not have the virtuous implications that we've been led to believe it does. And on that note, observe that being a Democrat or a Republican signifies an allegiance not to any fixed ideological positions, but rather to whatever positions are at least perceived to be more popular in the moment. For all the talk about rhinos, so-called Republicans in name only, what I just mentioned is that which being Republican in name actually means. And further observe, accordingly, that this is primarily why party policy positions have changed so much over time. Many Republicans today sound like Democrats from 20 years ago and vice versa. Often and rather comically, the exact same person is arguing with a younger or older version of himself. In the first of what became traditional warnings to the nation from an outgoing president, my fellow Fredericksburger, George Washington, for various reasons and quite presciently, rallied against the rise of political parties in the first place. Well, talk about a trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube situation. Regardless, if we're going to have these parties, let's at least have one that, in name, stands for valid principles. The people in this age who have called themselves Democrats are in the process of unabashedly rebranding themselves as totalitarians. I say, good! Let the wolves shed any semblance of sheep's clothes. Yet in the meantime, may the right be the right's party, fully defining the contrast between individualism and statist collectivism. May we proclaim in principle and nomenclature that we are wholly against theft and personal trespass, as the left openly embraces the opposite. We'll pick up here tomorrow. Until then, this has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
It's been 6 months since the implementation of Minnesota's paid family medical leave law, and the numbers are in. 75,000 people so far have freeloaded off their fellow workers by sloughing off and not working while still getting paid an average of $1,100 a week. I believe the proper term is utilized the program. Ahem. Somehow the Walz administration claims it's $70 million under budget so far, which makes it scary that 75,000 people leaving their jobs in just 6 months is less than what was expected by the Democrats when they passed it. The deal is that employers, school districts, city, county governments, and of course private sector businesses are all forced to pay nearly 1% of all payroll into a statewide slush fund, again, I believe the proper term is insurance pool, for any worker to apply for to get nearly full pay for up to 12 weeks a year to not work and instead care for someone they know or are related to, or to bond with children, which according to the government accounts for over half of the takers so far. 56% live in the 7-county metro, 64% are women, and nearly 6 in 10 are under 40. Aha! Thinking outside the box. Now it's clear the mission all along was political, to solidify their base by conditioning them that just by existing, they're entitled to other people's money without working for it if they themselves deem their family needs more important than the needs of those working to pay for them. Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild,
they want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
You hear a lot about weight loss injections because the results are dramatic, but injections aren't for everyone. So doctors created a new generation weight loss supplement. This is non-prescription lean, and the science behind it is impressive. The studied ingredients in lean are intended to address weight loss in 3 powerful ways: help maintain healthy blood sugar, help control appetite, and help convert fat into energy so you burn it faster.
Get 20% off with discount code Godzilla at TakeLean.com. Code Godzilla at TakeLean.com.
Brings live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network. It's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who always says to lace them up and lace them tight, John Fredericks.
Well, happy Monday. I'm John Fredericks, and you are on the John Fredericks Media Network, your Godzilla of the Truth in America, right here at your service. Well, we got quite the week coming up for you today. Lace them up and lace them tight. End of July 27th. Thanks for being with us. As always, we're kind of fired up today because we know this is going to be a great week, and we know there's going to be something going on with Iran. Another week is not going to go by with President Trump doing nothing. 2-day pause in the bombing. He says he wants to give the negotiations space, which is basically a ploy, a negotiating tactic for to reposition our armaments in order to continue the bombing and continue strangling Iran economically until basically they have nothing left. Meantime, we're being gouged, of course, with gas prices because the Houthis shoot a slingshot at some ship in the Red Sea, and of course, oil prices go up, 50 cents immediately, although it has nothing to do with anything. But this is how we're getting screwed. President Trump promised he would get the Justice Department to look into it. He needs to do that because we are getting gouged. Everything is gouging us. What's happening here with prices, all these companies know that they can just say, well, it's Trump's inflation, and they can just keep raising prices. I don't believe any of it. Interest rates are stable. Inflation has been stable. It's down, and yet these prices keep going up, and I think we're getting gouged. And I think we got to get to the bottom of this, and we got to get to the bottom of it fast. Give any American company the opportunity to stick it to U.S. workers, and they're going to do it. They've been doing it since the beginning of time here in the United States. So there's no difference here. It's the same thing over and over and over. Meantime, lots going on. Let's get to the Democratic Party, the Socialist Democrats, whatever you want to call them. Well, according to the New York Times, they are dead broke. They're $2 million in debt right now. Plus, they took out a $15 million loan basically to pay off Kamala's debts. Now, the interest on that is starting to come due. They have no way to pay it. They're trying to move numbers around. They're not paying vendors. Meantime, the Republican Party is flush with cash. Trump has, I think, $500 or $600 million in his account. The Trump PAC, the RNC, has got $130 million, and the DNC is $2 million in debt, and they're nominating crackpot, whack jobs communists. This is why I'm so optimistic. We are going to win these races. And if you look at the polling, yes, I understand that the generic polling favors the Democrats in the House. Depending on the poll, one's got them up by 3, one's got them up by 4. Emerson Outlier has them up by 11. That's a joke. But here's the risk. By almost 3-1, independents are rejecting the communist socialists in the party. By almost 3-1, 67-28. They're getting crushed. These are independents, not Democrats and not Republicans. Independents are getting crushed or crushing the communists. They are not going to vote for these people, and they're not going to vote for a party that believes they want to overthrow the government, which is what they want to do. Get rid of the Constitution, get rid of the U.S. Senate. They even want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to get rid of the presidency. I mean, these people are anarchists. They're not going to get voted in. That's why, as bad as things look right now, prices are going to come down. Gas is going to come down. This war is not going to go on forever, folks. Okay? It's just not. They just don't have enough armaments to stick with us. They're running out of stuff. And as soon as their people start starving in the streets, which is going to happen with no money, the riots are going to come, and this whole thing is going to collapse. And Trump is going to be seen as pulling off one of the biggest master international military strokes in history, as we're finally going to get rid of this nemesis that nobody else would. Nobody had the balls to do it. Nobody had the courage to do it. Nobody had the wherewithal to do it. Nobody had anything to do it. That's why I'm so optimistic today. Why I know we're going to have a great week. And so I thank all of you for joining us today because it's going to be a lot of fun. And we got a great lineup today. I got so much going on today. That's why, Dan, this show is so much fun. We got Brian Cole running for Congress in New Hampshire. He's going to be with us at 7. Our good friends at TWC Health at 7:35. Nick's going to be with us. Bannon 8. Barry Draper 8:35. He's got a couple new songs out, Dan. I didn't send them to you, but I will. I'll send them to you as soon as we get to the break. I forgot to hit the send button. So he's got a couple songs for us, Danny. We're going to do that. We got the Pennsylvania Posse coming up at 9. And along with that, at 9 with the Pennsylvania Posse, we've got Jeff Kaufman, who is the chair of the Iowa Republican Party, who was on a press conference Friday and blasted to smithereens the feckless weasel Iowa Democrats for not standing up to their Communist Party, who has stripped Iowa of their first in the nation Democrat caucus. Stripped them. And he says it's going to cost the state probably $100 million in economic activity. The Republicans will continue to have theirs, but no Democrat there. They're making the first in the nation primary South Carolina. They moved up Virginia. They moved up Washington, D.C. Woo! Let's go. Can't have more fun than this. I think our DC's moving up to June or something. So lots going on. Good to have you with us. And phone lines, of course, always open. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. And also gotta give Danny Boy a shout out here for adding some kind of an intellectual baseline of this show. You hear his Hobgood Minute in the morning. I mean, you gotta be ready for that. I mean, that's some kind of intellectual stuff going on right there. I mean, he's not exactly reading the news, right? Giving you waxing philosophical is Danny Boy at 6:15. I don't think anybody's ever done that, Dan. I don't know how you hold the audience. I'd be like, look, I got to get a cup of coffee too. Hey, coffee. But Dan, they're good, honestly.
Oh, thanks so much. No, I'm pleased that I've gotten some good feedback already.
The intellectual capacity of the John Fredericks Media Network. You're the one guy that does that. But thank you for doing it.
Yeah,
anyway,
no,
it's good to have you with us. Of course, we got Bannon on, so I guess he does it also. Me, not so much. But I'm going to have my first sip, Danny Boy, of my 1775 coffee in my Terps cup. Go Terps. I like turtles. Fear the turtle, Danny. I feel good about our team this year. That's why I'm so optimistic. I love our coach. I love what he's doing. I love the fact that the team sucked. He had a bad culture. Nobody wanted to win. They were all out for themselves. Out of a 35-man roster, he jettisoned out 26 of them or 27. He's got 8 returning guys. And this is a D1 Power 4 Big Ten school. 8 guys returning. 8. Many of them left under their own power, and many of them he just said, we got to go in another direction. Took balls, man, because it's not like Maryland's throwing around big NIL dollars, okay? Very limited budget for that. But, I'm going to be at their golf tournament in September. More about that. I want you guys to join us there once I get that going. In fact, let me write that down. I got to get that going, Dan, because it's going to be, I think it's on the Eastern Shore, and maybe some of you guys can make it. I'm going to be broadcasting live there. It's in September. I got to get all the details. I kind of got it, but I'll get Tina to do a graphic. Dan, remind me of that. Jot this down in the call today. By the way, Dan, joining us on the call for the first time, my son Jack is going to be on it. Santana. Jack has got a new role in the company as he studies for his doctorate. He is the Chief Operating Officer of the new sports division of the John Fredericks Media Network, Danny, as we continue to grow and all that good stuff. We've got, so Dan, remind me of that when we get to the call. And I don't know who's on vacation today. Everybody's, it's the summertime. Everybody's going on vacation. Meantime, I'm going to get to a couple of clips here, and then we'll get to callers. We're going to go 3, 1, 2. And the first one I want to get into right away is Jim Banks in Indiana votes for holding off the August recess. Why on earth would you go to an August recess? See, this to me is the most outrageous thing imaginable. You're going on vacation. You haven't done jack crap since you've been there. This year, you've done absolutely nothing in the Senate. You can't pass the SAVE Act. You can't get it on the floor. You won't fire the parliamentarian. You won't get rid of the filibuster. And now you want to go on vacation. And Banks votes no. They should all vote no. And let's have a vote. Let's hold everybody accountable. They won't even have a vote on whether or not to go on vacation. This is how much of a spineless, weasel, cowardly dirtbag Thune is. He doesn't even have the moxie to have a vote on a vacation. That's how cowardly these weasels are. I cannot wait until Kristi Noem kicks this guy's butt from here to Timbuktu. She'll beat him 65-35 and good riddance. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? This guy is such a joke. Let's get to cut three. Here's Jim Banks saying, no, I'm not going on vacation, you bunch of clowns. Go ahead. Roll it.
Republicans are frustrated that their Republican senators aren't able to get voter ID, proof of citizenship, and some of the other parts of the Save America Act across the finish line. I want you to shoot it very straight with us. Is there a chance, is there a snowball's chance in hell that we get the Save America Act in any iteration through the Senate to the president?
Well, this is the fifth time the House has passed the Save America Act. I'm frustrated, too. The Senate should abandon the so-called traditions and the filibuster rules, nuke the filibuster, do whatever it takes to pass the Save America Act. I think the NDAA and the upcoming reconciliation package that the House is going to send over to the Senate are the best opportunities that we have to pass Save America Act requiring voter ID. The NDAA is very important for our troops and our military. And by the way, Democrats are blocking funding for our military at a time when we need to replenish our munition stockpiles and support our military. So that's the perfect bill to put the Save America Act in. The Democrats are all against it. They don't want to support our military, and the Democrats don't want voter ID. So let's put every Republican on the record in support of it and pass it and save this country and head into the midterms with the best hand that we have to keep the majorities in the House and the Senate. I fear what will happen if we don't pass the Save America Act on Election Day in the midterm elections.
Yeah, I have the same fear. Senator, do you think that you should forego the upcoming recess to get this done?
I'm all for it. We don't need a recess. Let's pass the Save America Act. It's more important than taking a break, taking a recess. And I'm back in Indiana for the weekend. I head back to Washington tomorrow. I've heard from people everywhere I go, from the diner this morning to the grocery store, pass the Save America Act. We have to get it done. It's so fundamental to the future of this country to make sure that American elections are only for Americans. By the way, the biggest story this week was the Democrat governor in New Jersey admitting that 6,600 illegals were accidentally registered to vote, and hundreds of them actually voted in the last two elections in New Jersey. If that can happen there, and even a Democrat is admitting it, it's the biggest. It's yet the biggest reason and example of why we have to pass the Save America Act.
Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system.
If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, we got you back. Good to have you with us. I'm your Godzilla of the truth in America. Nothing like my first sip of 1775 coffee. I've been waiting to have this just with you. Got up at 3:45 today. Did my 75 push-ups, and I'm going to be off the workout clock this week. I got some little procedures going on so I figured I'd get them in today, right? Lift a little weights at 5 in the morning, ready for you. But I got to have my first sip of 1775. Now, let me see if it's any good. Hang on. Damn! That is one good cup of coffee right there. Especially when you've been waiting. What time is it? 6:38. I've been waiting almost 3 hours for this first cup. That's how disciplined and patient I am. Boy, that first sip, hang on, I got to have another one. I'm sorry. It's so good. This is just about quality of life. It's about living a good life. Hang on. I don't know, guys. I don't know what you drink, what coffee you're drinking. I don't know why you're not drinking this coffee, but I got to tell you, damn, that's good coffee. 1775 coffee. Here's why it's so good. First of all, it's affordable. That's number one, right? Price is going up here. No way. So number one, it's affordable. Number two, fresh roasted daily. No other coffee you get is going to have that. Number three, Bolivia, high up on a mountain. Best coffee you're ever going to have. 1775 coffee. It's about quality of life, right? How long are you going to be on this earth? Why would you suffer through a bad or Metacore cup of coffee? Like, why would you do that to yourself? Why? Oh, John, it's too hard. Okay. All you got to do is go to 1775coffee.com. Takes like 2 seconds. 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Boom, done. Get yourself your K-Cups, get yourself some beans, get yourself some fresh ground, whatever it's that you want. They got medium, they got dark, they got premium. I love the dark roast. I'm a dark roast guy. But you get what you want. Oh, no, I go to the Exxon station. Oh, my God, come on. Oh, no, I get Folgers. You might as well be drinking like ashtray mixed with mud. Stuff's gross. 1775, baby, way to go. Okay, we got callers. Yeah, Dan, I know we got callers, but, they're going to have to wait just a second. Let's get to Michigan. El Seattle is going to win this race. Another whack job. Hope he wins, because then Mike Rogers is going to win that seat and flip it, because Michiganders are not going to vote for the Muslim radical communist jihadist. Not born here. Not going to do it. They're going to vote for Mike Rogers. Safe bet. Is he a rhino? Yeah, he's a moderate Republican. I got no problem with Rogers in Michigan. I got no problem with Susan Collins in Maine. Like, I'm a realist, guys. I'm a realist. Let's go to cut one. Here's Crystal Ball, who is calling the Haley Stevens campaign. She's running against a moderate, not a moderate Democrat, a not crazy, a non-communist Democrat. See, there's no moderates now. Non-whacked communist Democrat running against the jihadist. And Molly Ball says she's desperate. That's why she's going to lose. Cut one, roll it.
Is that something that Bernie has described these people as? Is like they have more money than nations, so why would they care about ours? Like, it doesn't make sense. And you see that playing out in Michigan. And this is where I want to close because you're very busy, so I can't keep you all the time. But Abdul al-Sayed right now is facing not only the onslaught of money, but it seems like this coordinated campaign to try to make Haley Stevens cool. I don't think Haley Stevens, and I got some flack from Haley Stevens and her team because while talking extensively about why she misunderstands purposely income versus wealth in America and used that to try to attack her opponent. And I just think that's a fundamental thing that you have to understand the difference between if we're going to, rewrite our tax codes and fix this country. But I made a joke about her voice because she does play it up a little bit. And all of a sudden, all these people online are trying to pretend that Haley Stevens is cool. What have you made of this campaign?
It just all feels very desperate, very astroturfed. I saw someone who posted, she printed signs that say, stick it to them. And Abdul has signs that say, like, Medicare for all, get money out of politics. It has his specific platform planks. And to me, it just demonstrates the perfect distillation of the difference between their campaigns, because he's got substance, specific plans backed up by a worldview and an ideology that is consistent and thought through. And she's got platitudes about how she's going to fight hard and she's going to stick it to him because that's the Michigan way. Like, it's meaningless. It doesn't have any content to it. And so that's why she just ends up being for sale by the highest bidder, because there's nothing else that she's willing to fight for or interested in fighting for in a way that would lead her to standing up against sort of those entrenched interests. So I see that. I see these racialized attacks, which are really disgusting. Abdul, if I can remind everybody, is the person of color in this campaign, and yet we're being told that his campaign, the people who are voting for him, are not diverse enough. Now we have this whole attack on, you people are so toxic and you're sexist against Haley Stevens, et cetera, which is just a rerun of the toxic Bernie bros conversation from 2016 and again in 2020. It all just feels like they're looking at polls that have her down and kind of desperate and throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks.
That's the best clip I've run in probably months, and I'll tell you why. Molly Ball, Crystal Ball, who's a very, very astute Democrat operative, and this other clown that's interviewing her. But what she said here, I want this to sink in, okay? This is why the communists are taking over the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party in and of itself stands for nothing, right? Corporatism, money, whatever, they're broke. They don't stand for anything. And the communists, they have a message. And like she said, their message is free child care for all, free Medicare for all, and wealth. Like this guy said, change the tax code so that we tear down the ability for people to accumulate wealth, because wealth is bad, profits are bad, making money is bad. We all need to be downtrodden. We all need here. Doesn't matter how much money he made, this guy Abdul. They said, well, there's a difference between income and wealth. No, there's not. Your income leads to investment and wealth and buying things and building things and growing things. So you're an imbecile to boot. You're a half-wit anyway, okay? But this is really the fundamental problem the Democrats have, and why the communists are going to continue to take over their party, because as Crystal Ball said, they have no message. It's all platitudes and nonsense. So the communists have a message. You are going to get things for free, and the evil in the country, according to them, is Israel. It's Jews. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? 1939. It's Israel. It's Jews and it's wealth. Those are your enemies. Wealth. The accumulation of wealth in the hands of a few is what they say. Why don't you have their money? Why don't you have their nice things? Why don't you have that? You should have that. Like Dan that said in his early, what was it, Ox out of the box, Minnesota basically take off 11 weeks, take off 12 weeks, get paid for on the backs of the people that have to work to pay you. Why not stay home for 3 months when you can to take care of an elderly or to take care of your child or to do anything? Just 3 months off. And soon it'll go to 6. But 3 is not going to be enough. This is where this is all headed, but crystal ball nailed it. Okay, plenty of callers, guys. Let's make these succinct. Keith, Virginia, line 1. Keith, you're live.
Yeah. Hi, John. Thank you so much. Hey, could you tell me, this is a really important, President Trump talking about putting tariffs on Mexico over that cyclospora outbreak on the Taylor Farms lettuce. Was he joking, or was that serious that he wants to do that? Because what's going to happen is
joking.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, that was not a a lot of what he says is tongue in cheek. Just like he said he was going to put tariffs on Canada for the wildfires. No, he put tariffs on Canada because they're still dumping subsidized material in the United States, putting our dairy farmers and our lumberjacks out of business. That's why I put the tariffs on Canada. Had nothing to do with the wildfires. So he says a lot. You got to take it with a great grain of salt. He's put no tariffs on Mexico. But obviously, look, when you're importing lettuce with disease in it, it's not a good thing, right? Nobody's going to say that's a good thing. So however that happened, they have dirty water, right? I think we had Dr. McCullough on a week ago who explained exactly how this happened. They have dirty, contaminated water. Water seeps in the lettuce. Even if you wash it, it's in the substance of it. That's what spread the disease. And so, I don't think the FDA can do anything about that because they can't detect it. So, we ought to buying lettuce grown in the United States farms that are grown with non-contaminated water. I mean, that's the problem. Everything in Mexico now has to come under question because the country is filthy. Their water is contaminated. It's dirty. And so anything made with that, you got to think twice. That's all. So I don't think that's a serious thing. But Keith, good question. Thank you. Steve, Virginia, line 2. Steve, go.
Good morning, Chairman Fredericks.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Just 2 quick points. First is that, President Trump has more military experience than Bill Clinton, Obama, and Biden all put together. Okay, you can't discount what he learned as far as military tactics and history and strategy and weapons. I mean, okay, it was a military academy, but he learned more than any of those clowns knew about dealing with wars. So, you can't count him out when he's trying to negotiate things or trying to deal with things. The other thing is that every president has always had to deal with the certainty that, there's only 2 years where they're going to be able to do anything that they really promised the people they want to do, which is after, the midterms in their last term, whether they're a, 4-year or 8-year, the last 2 years are the most important of their presidency. So it's upsetting to me when I hear all of these people, what I call pusillanimous pearl clutchers, who say, "Oh, we can't send our sons and our daughters into battle." Well, we've spent over the last 30 years between $8 and $10 trillion in equipping them and training them and paying for their degrees, their future endeavors. I mean, we do a lot. And the military is not supposed to be a social employment kind of, structure. So, look, nobody wants boots on the ground where there's going to be people put in harm's way. I don't want to see soldiers die. On the other hand, that's what we've been training them for. That's what we have been paying them to do, and that's what we need them to do at this point. Go into Iran and just knock the hell out of all of those idiots in the IRGC and take over the country and, stop this silliness, because, all those people who call in or people who have said, out there in the public airwaves and stuff about how, he should focus on domestic things and leave the rest of the world alone. And it's like, look, we're not, back in the Stone Age where, what goes on in another continent isn't going to affect you. We're a global economy. These people brought the fight to us. We didn't start this war 47 years ago. But the thing is, we have to finish it, and we finally have a president with the backbone and with the ability to do something about it. So, all of this, but, we'll lose in the midterms, and all of this crap. It's like, look, you really are starting, an issue of where it's called, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, well, we won't support him if he doesn't do what we want him to do. Well, you need to educate yourself as far as what needs to be done and what the reality of the situation is. I'm just really sick and tired of the idea that, President Trump is understanding, look, he wants to do what he needs to do. On the other hand, he's seeing that people aren't behind him. And it's like a president needs to be supported in making the right decisions for the country as a whole. And that's what, we need to get this done and over with. And it could be done and over with in a week if we just put all of our forces out there, which they are trained and equipped to do, and stop trying to treat them like they're little snowflakes that, need to be protected. Oh, don't put them in harm's way. It's like,
well, nobody wants, nobody wants, Steve, I get it. Nobody wants their son or daughter to be put in harm's way. So, you acknowledge that. Nobody wants that. If it has to be, it has to be. But I don't want my 22-year-old going to Iran. I don't want my 36-year-old going to Iran. I don't want my wife going to Iran. I mean, I don't want any of them going. So, there always lies the juxtaposition that you don't want your own family, your own children to go and be put in harm's way. So, the president has to balance that. But, your point is well taken. That's why we have a military, and sometimes you're put in these tough situations. I think one way or the other, this thing is never going to get resolved by some negotiation. They've already shown that. We don't know who's in charge. Whatever deal they come up with, the next day they violate it, and then they deny it when they come out of the press conference. I mean, the whole thing is absurd, like Trump said. So I don't think there's really any choice here, but some sort of military action. We need a permanent solution to keep the Strait open. A permanent solution, not a temporary MOU that's fragile. A permanent solution. And I believe in my company. I tell my people all the time, if we got to do a quick fix in the interim, right? I'm willing to go with that give me the period of time, but give me the permanent solution. I want to invest in that. Otherwise, I'm going to be dealing with this over and over and over. And so, I'll buy the equipment we need. We'll finance it. We'll bite the bullet. Otherwise, when it's all said and done, I'm going to pay double by putting Band-Aids on it. And then it's off the air and, stuff goes down and it's just eating up time and effort and it's draining. So, we need a permanent solution to the Strait. We don't have one. Hopefully we'll get one by taking control of it. That's all. Just take control of it. Bomb the crap out of them and take control of it. And if anybody gets near any ship, put them on the bottom of the ocean and kill anyone associated with it. Over time, there's nobody left. That's kind of the way math works. Steve, thank you. John in Jersey, line 3. John, you're live.
Hey, John. How you doing, pal?
Hey, Johnny.
Great show so far. So oil right now is roughly around $83 a barrel. That's down 6. If you would have read the reports over the weekend, you would have thought that Iran had bombed every ship from here to, China. So you can't put the clickbait is so heavy and thick. I mean, you really can't believe anything that you're reading right now. And the only thing, and I could continue to keep pressing this, the only thing you could follow if you want to understand the progress of the Iranian conflict is just watch the price of oil. So they're obviously up to something that's to the positive, because that's a pretty significant dip between Friday and today in the price of oil. And, you know, the price gouging, like you said, that definitely has to be addressed. I mean, they're just, you know, it'll go down.
I mean, how does
now,
oil go
the
up?
rate-
How do gas prices go up 50 cents when the Houthis shot a bow and arrow at a ship in the Red Sea? That has nothing to do with anything. It didn't even stop the ship. It had nothing to do with it. And the oil goes up and gas goes up. The gas that went up 50 cents or 30 cents, the gas companies paid the same for that gas before it went up than they did 2 weeks ago. It's sitting there. It's not like they got a price increase the next day. They are gouging us by taking advantage of every single little thing that happens to jack up their prices, and it's a monopolistic situation. It's a monopoly. You got 5 gas companies controlling it all. They all collude. My words, right? Allegedly. I don't have any proof of it, so I have to say that on the air. But it certainly appears like collusion. Like, why are they all raising at the same price at the same time? Why? Right? I don't know what a gallon of gas is, wholesale. But if it's, if a gallon of unleaded is $2.10 and I'm charging $3 and then all of a sudden it's $3.50, I'm still getting it for $2.10. I just jacked it up. So everybody's making more money on our backs. And to sit there and tell me the price of gas went up 50 cents because, somebody shot a drone, like a half-baked drone, or somebody shot a catapult at some ship in the Red Sea. Are you kidding me? But look, the fake news wants us, they're rooting for Iran. Look, you go back, John. You go back. The left in this country rooted for China and Korea. Then they rooted for the North Vietnamese. Okay? Then they rooted for Afghanistan. I mean, the left in this country and now they're rooting for Iran. It's like they want Iran to win this. They want them to be successful. And if that means Americans come back in body bags and that means they can win another seat in Congress, so be it. It's for the greater good. That's the way they look at it. I mean, I've never seen a country where there's a political party that is rooting for your country to lose wars. I think if the Chinese came in and took over a third of the Western country, that half these Democrats would be cheering them on with Chinese flags, like waving them in the streets as their army marched in. I mean, you got guys, this guy Hassan, Passan, whatever the name is, you've got guys praising Mao. The guy killed, what did he kill? 50 million people? They're praising him. Chairman Mao. These people are nuts, dude. That's why the Republicans are going to win. We are going to win. What they're doing is not sustainable. The fake news is going to go so far, and then it's all going to blow up in their face. John Fredericks Media Network, Truck the Truth across America. John, if you want to hack through the break, I'll give the final word, but I got to go. We got Larry and anybody else. No, he hung up. 888-480-JOHN.
Fire last evening at a popular food festival near the Space Needle were shooting at each other. Police Chief Tyrone Davis says call of shots fired came in around 6 p.m.
Officers responded and addressed one of the shooters. That person gave up and was taken into custody. There was another person that we believe that was also involved that fled the scene, and officers began an active search for that person.
And that search goes on. The shooting left 3 people dead, 2-year-old boy among 4 others injured. The suspect in the deadly Berlin Pride attack, it killed one person, injured 29, was shot dead by German police during a confrontation in a Berlin suburb. Authorities identify the gunman as Abdul Balut, German citizen with Lebanese roots. Prosecutors say that he had previously tried to hook up with ISIS. America will soon observe the 25th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and some of those who lost loved ones on that terrible day do not want New York City's mayor to attend Ground Zero's ceremony.
It's an emotional time for the families of the innocent people killed by radical Islamic terrorists on September 11th of 2001. Some are very busy gathering signatures for a petition as they do not want New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani to attend the annual ceremony where the names of all the victims are read out loud at Ground Zero. They're concerned about the mayor's associations with people who have minimized what happened and have even suggested America deserved the attacks. The group posting specific examples on the website change.org.
Correspondent Laura Winters. The U.S. and Iran have stopped shooting at each other, at least for now. Efforts to restart ceasefire talks are now underway. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures up 559 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation. Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
French President Macron has called a crisis meeting to address uncontrolled wildfires, forcing over 250,000 people to flee their homes. In the Gironde region of southwest France, flames have burned an area that's 4 times the size of Paris. Officials say the situation remained globally stable overnight, a change from previous days. No new evacuations have been announced. With France entering its peak tourist season, local authorities banning holiday camps for youngsters and people with disabilities. Ukrainian President Zelensky set to meet with British Prime Minister Andy Burnham at a naval base in England. Burnham says the visit is designed to underline unwavering British support for Ukraine. Zelensky's trip is the first by a foreign leader since Burnham took office a week ago. He will be the 5th British Prime Minister the Ukrainian president has dealt with since Russia's invasion of Ukraine back in 2022. News and analysis at townhall.com. Estrangement within families caused by political differences has been a growing, troubling phenomenon in recent years. Closer look now at what may help to fuel that divide.
A Wall Street Journal investigation says self-care advice is replacing reconciliation efforts, and critics argue the trend is spreading faster than the evidence, especially online. Here's what's at stake. About 25% of Americans say they're estranged from a close relative, and surveys suggest a third of estranged parents blame their adult child's therapist. While cutting contact may bring short-term relief, research links it to higher rates of chronic depression, an outcome experts call tragic, not typical. Ron Taylor reporting.
A federal appeals court has upheld a judge's ruling that halted President Trump's efforts to create a federal voter list and limit who can receive a mail-in ballot. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
On Golf with Jay Delsing, hear the stories of star makers like Scotty Scheffler coach Randy Smith.
Randy, thank you so much for joining us today.
I knew that there was going to be something real close to what we're looking at when he was 6.5 years old.
Wow.
I was one of the luckiest guys in the world to be standing on the right street corner when the right bus came up.
Plus the latest equipment news and tips on playing better golf. Golf with Jay Delsing, Saturday mornings, 11 Eastern, 10 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man Jack Nicholson knows can handle the truth, John Fredericks.
Hey, great to have you with us. You know what? Everybody's talking about weight loss, but how do you do it? Right? I went from 285 to 245, and then I just plateaued there for like 2 months, 3 months, it seems. 242, 247, 243, nothing has worked for me until finally somebody turned me on to lean weight loss. So I'm not going to take shots, artificial, synthetic. I'm just not going to do it. B12 is good, but I just don't take shots because I want natural. Anything that I'm going to do has got to be natural. That's why I'm so healthy. So a couple people turned me on to lean weight loss, which I'm taking. You take 3 of these a day. You get it when you just get up in the morning, right? Before your coffee, right? Down these. I take these. I take my testosterone Zeus, right? Take them, down those. Full glass of water. This, it does a couple things. It supports healthy blood sugar, all natural. It helps your body burn fat by converting it into energy. And it's going to curb your appetite and cravings, so you're just not as hungry. When you're just not as hungry, you don't eat as much because the key to losing weight is you got to expend more calories going out than you take coming in. As simple as that. I mean, it's very easy math. That's what you have to do. And lean was created for frustrated dieters like me that lost weight and then just stopped. And I just can't get. I'm trying to get to 225 like that. Last 20 pounds, I'm just stuck there. So I've started lean. Been on it a week now. This is my 8th day, as I started a week ago Monday, and no results yet. I mean, I was 245 today, but I haven't gained any. So there's going to be a time period here, but I'm looking forward to results starting this week, and I'm going to get you started with 20% off and free rush shipping, so you can add lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan because you got to do all that. You got to diet and you got to exercise. So check this out. Go on the journey with me because I'm going to be very honest about what happens. Now, obviously, if you go on lean and you're going to eat, 16 sandwiches a day and, potato chips and donuts, obviously you're not going to lose weight, right? If you're going to drink, a 6-pack of beer a night, you're not going to lose weight. But if you're serious about, and look, I don't have time to jog or, walk 2 miles a day or any of that. But just enough light exercise, some calisthenics. That's it. No big deal. Maybe you walk couple 3 times a week like I do, but just don't overeat. It's gonna curb your appetite, and as it's done with me. So just go to takelean.com, enter promo code Godzilla for your 20% off. Go to takelean.com, enter Godzilla for 20% off. And promo code Godzilla at takelean.com. And look, unsolicited, one of our listeners from New Jersey, John, took it before I was a promoter of it, before I started taking it, and told me he lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. That's what I want to do. If I can lose 15 pounds in 6 weeks, get down to 230, now I'm in striking distance of 225. So that's my goal. And check this out. Go on the journey with me. Do it today. Not expensive at all. Just visit takelean.com, enter promo code Godzilla, and you're going to get 20% off. You're good to go. Okay, let's get to some of the phone lines. John is still on. John from Jersey. John, we're going to give you the final word. I had to go to a break. Go ahead, John.
Oh yeah, John. Hey, if I'm not working, I could always hang with you. I got off today. Anyway, I just wanted to mention there was another glitch in New Jersey. They found 75,000 illegals on the state juror pool list. So, obviously that had to have been a glitch, I guess, that how those illegals somehow got into the jury pool, which I believe, if I'm correct, comes through the DMV. So the bottom line is this is a disease countrywide, and this is only what we're finding. What is it? I think there's 23 states that refuses to give their voter oath over. It's almost like the oil companies, don't believe your lying eyes. We obviously know that there's mass fraud across the country. The bottom line is, when they pull the Band-Aid off of this thing, that scab is going to be so disgusting. People their jaws are going to hit the floor. So I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I think the president is also, you're starting to see a lot of the things that, the base wants to see. I think it was time politically. I don't care if it's political, as long as it's coming. You're starting to see indictments, things of that nature. So I think we're well positioned for the midterms. But like I said, we have to get to the bottom of this. I mean, there's obviously blatant flaws in our voting system. The glitches are all over the place. The thing that annoys me is that, I think the senator you had on before, they're like, well, they found a glitch of 6 deaths. It's like, come on, just stop buying in. I don't know why they think they have to, amuse these people and repeat their lies. But there's no glitches. I always say, even with last week's news, somehow it glitched what? 6,000 people. Then they somehow glitched to a registration, and then they glitched to a vote. I mean, are you kidding me?
And then they glitched to the jury pool. They glitched their way.
Then somehow
and then they glitched their
75,000
way. They glitched their way to welfare checks, and they glitched their way to free health care, and they glitched their way. They just glitch. It's the new way. Come to America as an illegal and glitch your way to the top. The Glitchers. There should be a movie, The Glitchers. John, thanks for adding that. All right, John. Thank you, John, in Monmouth County, New Jersey, home of Monmouth County Raceway. Still hanging by a thread, Johnny. It's hanging by a thread, baby. I haven't been there in a while. I got to go back. Maybe we'll race one of my horses there, just for old time's sake, John. And then you and Michelle can come. We'll get a table upstairs in whatever the jockey club or something. It'll be fun. I think we should do that. Let's see how it plays out. I know we got Brian Cole. Brian, I'm going to get to you in a second. Larry in Virginia, line 1. Larry, you're live.
Good morning, John, from beautiful downtown Greenville, South Carolina.
Nice.
I am on a vacation this week and visiting some relatives, visiting my old alma mater, Bob Jones University.
Very
I do have to say one thing. I just had the most horrible cup of coffee in my life. Whew, I need to start bringing some 1775 coffee on vacation.
Dude, I put a box of Keurigs in my suitcase along with my medical emergency kit. I never take it out. And if it gets, when I'm unpacking and I've only got half a box, I put another box in there. I will not travel without my 1775 coffee. Then the problem is, if you go to a Marriott, they don't have the Keurigs there. They have those sliding things, which are absolutely disgusting. So then I have to buy one of those mini Keurigs. I got to pack that. So it's like I don't travel light, baby, but I cannot take that garbage coffee. I'm with you on that.
I know, man. It's crazy. If we can't beat these commies in November, it's sad. They just give us to us right on the plate. I mean, it's a fastball straight down the middle. I mean, it's like Babe Ruth time. Just knock it out of the ballpark, baby. And I cannot understand what the Republican Party is thinking. We got to have somebody come out and just flat out do a smackdown on our party. I know President's busy. We got to have somebody else. I can't understand Vance. Why don't he just come up and clear the Senate, get these appointments done, and just take care of business. Forget names. Don't take any names. Just take care of business. That's what we need to do. It's just like Iran. I know there's a game plan. Sometimes you got to fall back to move forward. I'm a little, upset about what's going on right now, but I got to have faith in my president and the leaders, and just hope that Raising Cain is chomping at the bit, and just the president's waiting time to unleash the dogs, as they say.
As incompetent as the Republicans are, they're going to keep the House. As bad as they are, only because the Democrats are now worse, right? That's why the generic poll's gone down to 3 or 4. We got all these seats. We went in the gerrymandering. Let me tell you the 3 keys to watch. 1, Virginia, 2nd District, Kiggins. She wins, they're done. Second one, Whitman, 1st District, Virginia. He wins, they're done. Third, Scott Perry, Pennsylvania. He wins, Fitzpatrick will win. Fitzpatrick wins, Bresnahan wins. Bresnahan wins, game over. Those are the races to watch. 2 in Virginia, 3 in Pennsylvania. Both states, ironically, that I cover. Isn't that just special? Isn't that rich? Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Here's a seat we could flip. New Hampshire 1, Brian Cole, running for Congress in New Hampshire 1. We always talk about it. We never win it. But he's got a shot, I understand, from cousin Brucey is telling me you got an outside shot to win this thing, Brian. And when cousin Brucey talks, people listen. Understand that cousin Brucey is running for House of Representatives, right? House of Delegates in New Hampshire from what was it, Wyndham, the Wyndham Mafia.
Yep. No, I've been up at the State House for 4 years, and I can see the disconnect between Concord and Washington. We're all Republican here in the state of New Hampshire, but we have no Republican representation up in Washington. It's kind of frustrating, so it needs to change.
Tell me about your campaign. Tell us about the 1st District. We always think we got a shot, then we always lose. Tell me about your primary. Just give everybody an update, who you are, what you're doing, Brian.
My whole life. I heard you mention horse racing earlier. You own horses. My dad was the leading owner down at Rockingham Park. He had 25 thoroughbreds at Rockingham. We used to race down there all the time. So JC Stables, I don't know if you recognize that name. Ron Dandy was his trainer.
You know what? I do. Ron Dandy's not exactly a household name, but if you're in the business, you know him. Yeah. And Rockingham, pretty good track, decent purses even back then. So I think Dandy he had a couple stake horses, but he mainly does what we do he runs overnights. Overnights means, condition claimers, not the 2-year-old that you're buying for like $7 million deal. Go ahead.
So beyond that, he was a state trooper and a park ranger. So I grew up at Pawtuckaway State Park, lived there my whole life. I graduated from Raymond High School, went to Southern New Hampshire University, have a degree in economics and finance, have a degree in accounting. I owned a wholesale company here in Manchester for 25 years. So I supported the local economy. I employed local people. And I was fortunate enough to be able to retire 2 years ago. And I'm running for this congressional race full-time. This is my new full-time job. I want to support the people of New Hampshire. New Hampshire's been good to me. I want to give back to New Hampshire.
All right, so who's the incumbent now in 1, and give people kind of what the geography is, New Hampshire 1?
In CD1, the last 2 congressmen actually came out of Manchester, not from Manchester. It was Frank Ginta, then it was Chris Pappas. Chris Pappas is now vacating the seat, and he's running for Senate. So it's an open seat here in Manchester.
Okay, so it's an open seat in Manchester. The Republican primary is when? September
8th. Isn't it? Yep.
September 8th. How many people in that primary, Brian?
There was 4 legitimate candidates. Now 1 dropped out, so now we're down to 3. So,
are you the MAGA candidate in the race?
I believe so. I mean,
why do you say that?
Here in the state of New Hampshire, they have the New Hampshire for Trump people, and I'm over like 2/3, over 60% with the MAGA people. So, I mean, I support what he's doing. I think he's been a good president.
So, Pappas carried that district in 24 when Trump was on the ballot. He carried it by what? I think 4 or 5, right? It was not particularly competitive. Now he's not on the ballot and you're in a down cycle. How do you turn the corner and run a competitive race, Brian, if you're the nominee?
I mean, I think people are just fed up with the leftist policies and the leftist agenda. And I think that's what you're going to see from the other side of the candidates. I have a proven track record up at the State House. So I'm the only person that's running in the race that has legislative experience, that's going to know day one, I'm going to hit the ground running and know what I'm doing. I mean, that's a big deal, too. People don't understand what they're actually getting themselves into. It's a fire hose of information that gets shoved down your throat in order to learn how to be a legislator.
Okay, let's get some policy issues. Iran war. Where do you stand?
I think he's doing the right thing. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They've been number one global sponsor of terrorism for the last 47 years. This year alone, they killed 52,000 of their own people for protesting. It's a regime that needs a regime change. I think he's doing the right thing. I think he needs to go all in and make the regime change happen.
The NDAA that was just passed out of Congress, if you were there, would you have voted in favor of it?
I'm not sure what that is.
The National Defense Authorization Act?
Oh, well, they gave additional funding?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. As far as Speaker Johnson, how do you rate his speakership?
I think he's doing a tremendous job. I mean, he's in a tough situation where he has a very slim majority, so it's hard to play that balance. My first term up at the State House in Concord, we only had a 2-seat majority. So if you didn't work with the other side, you weren't going to get anything accomplished. I understand the compromise, and you have to stand your place when you have to stand your place. But yeah, you have to work with the other side, and I know how to get things done. I think he's doing a good job.
Safer Supervision Act moving through Congress, which allows parole officers to jettison out people on supervised parole, make a recommendation to the judge that let them out for whatever reason, that they're doing all the right things, and get released from supervision. Part of the kind of the extension of the First Step Act. How do you stand on that, Brian?
You know, we did a lot of bail reform here in the state of New Hampshire. We had a very serious problem. It was like a revolving door with criminals going in and out. Like, we had a stabbing victim. A guy was stabbing people, and like 20 minutes later, the judge let him out, and he stabbed and he murdered somebody. So we did that bail reform here in the state of New Hampshire. I can certainly understand that you have to have guardrails, but as far as the revolving door goes, no, I don't want to see that. If they're a criminal, they belong behind doors, or they belong behind.
Okay, well, that's not what the Safer Supervision Act. Safer Supervision Act says you're out, judge lets you out, you're being supervised, you're on parole, and the parole officer believes you're doing all the right things, and so they can recommend to the judge that your supervision be released if you're assimilating back into society. Do you back that?
I would agree with that.
Not?
He's a professional. He's been trained to understand what, yeah.
Okay, so you're in favor of that. AM radio in every car bill, my favorite bill in the history of the earth, of the galaxy. Right answer or wrong answer? Do you back that bill? Dan, get ready to cut him off if he says no.
Tell me what the bill's about. Tell me what the bill's about.
Getting AM radio in every car, because the car companies now are trying to jack AM radio out of vehicles. It's got 300 co-sponsors in the House, 60 in the Senate.
I would certainly support that because I support you.
All right, good. Therefore, interview could continue. If you said no, we would cut you off and go on to something else. Good answer.
Can I talk to you about something exciting for me?
Yes.
So in New Hampshire, we changed our right to try laws here in the state of New Hampshire. We said if you only had 3 or 4 months to live, you had a terminal illness, you should have every right to try any medication it is to save your life. I mean, it's only normal. We all want to live. So I wrote a bill that extends it to chronic illnesses here for the state of New Hampshire. So you no longer have to have a terminal illness in order to receive treatments. So for example, there's a company called Epibone here in the state of New Hampshire. If you had a bone cancer or a bone deformity, they can use your own stem cells and grow your replacement bone so you have a normal quality of life again. But beyond that, they can grow cartilage in your body now. So if you're a runner and you need major knee surgery, you don't have to have that anymore. They can grow your replacement cartilage in your knees. You blow out your rotator cuff, they can fix that. So I was just down in Washington last week and for the biotech conference, and New Hampshire has the best legislation for this. So I'm excited for New Hampshire to basically be the brain trust for this industry. 2 of the big things that came out of that conference last week was, number one, they've mapped the human genome and they know the markers are for cancer, so they can actually give you gene therapy so you don't get cancer. The other big thing that came out of it was they figured out a way to make organ transplants survive up to 5 days. So now they think they can get rid of the transplant waiting list. You'd be able to transplant an organ anywhere in the world because it survives up to 5 days. That's the kind of stuff that these people are doing. It's amazing work.
That's the kind of thing that somebody can get to Congress and be an advocate for it. That no, it's really not on anybody's radar screen. Brian, you get there. Give me your number one objective.
My number one objective, I would love to be on Ways and Means Committee, but the people in New Hampshire are really struggling with their energy prices. So I'd like to get on an energy committee. I think we need to expand nuclear in the state of New Hampshire. I'm very interested in small modular reactors. We've been talking about that. It's actually the number one conversation that I'm having here in New Hampshire.
You think you think the gas companies, all companies are price gouging?
Oh, absolutely. And same thing with the part of the natural gas problem is the Jones Act from the 1920s. In the 1920s, in order to protect American shipping, they said only an American crew with an American ship can go port to port and transport fuel. We don't have that fleet anymore, so now they have to go to a foreign port. That's raising our prices by like 15%.
Hey, do you have the backing of my good friend Al Letizio?
Yeah.
You have?
I haven't talked to him recently, but yeah, he's a good guy.
All right, well, you need to talk to him.
All right.
Great guy. Big Al's a great guy. Hey, thanks for being with us. Brian, people want to follow your campaign. Where do they go?
Colefornh.com, COLE, the number 4, NH.com. And you can see all my positions there. Reach out to the campaign. I'd love to hear from you.
Has Lewandowski weighed in on this race?
He is not. I was down in Washington. I couldn't get a hold of him when I was down there. I was hoping to meet up with him, but it didn't happen. So I'll keep trying to get a hold of him.
Whoever he backs will win. You know that, right?
I think so. I think he's the right voice. So he hasn't weighed in yet, so that's good for me.
Brian, thanks for being with us. My best to cousin Brucey. Bruce Benton.
Hi.
All excited because the Red Sox have won, 15, 16, 17 out of 19 games.
They're on fire.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were written off for dead. I should be betting them every day, and I kind of missed it. And now I'm like, whatever. But they won again last night. They have crept back into the race, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
They need a bat, though. They don't score any runs. They need a bat. They get a couple bats at the trade deadline. I mean, their pitching's been awesome. They just need a right-handed bat, and they're going to be tough.
That deadline must be coming up pretty soon, right?
August 3, midnight. August 3, midnight. Trade deadline. The Astros need a bat. We got no outfield. Our 3 guys in the outfield average of the averages 197. You just can't win. I mean, you can't win with 3 outfielders batting under the Mendoza line. You can't win. We need a bat, and we need one bat. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. The Wellness Company. My good friend Nick. Next. Keep it right here.
Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ponder this. Most people want to have a good day every day. In order to do this, we must start our day with gratitude and keep an attitude of gratitude throughout the day. I offer you my recipe for having a great day and a joyful life. First, start each day being grateful that the Lord has given you another day to serve Him. Roll yourself out of bed, get on your knees, and say a morning prayer of thanksgiving. Ask the Lord to help you throughout the day to do whatever His will is for you. Next, thank God for the little things that make your day better. I thank Him immensely for my morning coffee, and for my legs that allow me to take a morning walk. I pray for those who cannot walk because of age, injury, or disability. Throughout the rest of the day, I am grateful for the people God has placed in my life. I thank Him for those who love me, and I pray especially for those who do not love me. Find ways in your day to thank God continually and offer prayers for all those the good Lord has placed in your daily path. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Great to have you with us here on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables, Nicholas Holcher, joining us from the Wellness Company. Nick, thanks for being with us. Always great to have you on Monday morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's going on with this parasite thing? This thing, the lettuce from Mexico. We understand the water was contaminated. It got into the lettuce, and lettuce is made of water, right? So there's a lot of it in there. So there was no way to detect this. Now this thing is spreading all over the country. A lot of people getting sick, horrible diarrhea over it. It spreads. We can't seem to get to the bottom of it. Started at Taco Bell. Now it's all over the place. What's the deal here with this thing?
Yeah, so this is actually, it appears, the worst cyclospora parasite outbreak on record in the United States. Now we are actually surpassing 2,000 confirmed cases by the CDC as of recently. And so, at first we suspected one of the only sources was the Taylor Farms lettuce imported from Mexico, shipped to Taco Bell locations. But now it does appear that there's actually other sources for sure as well, because now this outbreak appeared to have spread to about over 30 states. And so, what we have to do now is we found one source, but we have to find the others, right? We don't know exactly what's behind these outbreaks in these other states.
When you say you don't know what's behind the outbreaks, why has this been so difficult for us to decipher?
Yeah, it's very difficult to decipher because, first of all, it's hard to test for these parasites, and it's hard. So basically, you take a piece of lettuce, the testing's not so great, as well as they can't isolate the parasite that well from the piece of lettuce and basically replicate it in the lab. It's very difficult to do that, to confirm for sure, oh yeah, this has cyclospora. So what they usually have to rely on is the epidemiological outbreak evidence as of what people literally tell them that they ate. And so that's what makes this more difficult. Like, for example, with the Taylor Farms lettuce, they were able to find that out because they looked at 190 people who ate Taco Bell in Michigan, and 90% of them said they ate Taco Bell with an item containing iceberg lettuce. So, that was okay, that's one of the sources. But, it's very hard to kind of, find out all of these sources using that method in a rapid manner.
So, this thing we understand from a week ago, I had Dr. Peter McCullough on. He said it comes from likely contaminated water in Mexico. What's the risk going forward with other things that are made with water coming out of Mexico?
Yeah, definitely. Like some of this water is probably contaminated by feces by some degree. And then unfortunately, that's how they do get the cyclospora parasite. And you're right, if they're, watering the lettuce, or it's not just lettuce though, it could be other,
tomatoes.
Yeah. Any other fresh produce, even raspberries, snow peas. It could be blueberries, right? It could be anything. And so Obviously, if Mexico is indeed the sole source of all of these cases, we have to do something about that. We can't just let, these parasites be imported in.
When you
and
go to
cause, yeah.
Nick, when you go to the grocery store, when you go to and I'm just asking this honest question because I don't shop and does. So I'm not going to lie about it. I think I go to CVS and buy shaving cream, toothbrush, and razor blades and water. That's it. That's the extent of my shopping. But when you go to the produce section, if something is coming, like say you're buying blackberries, is it labeled Mexico or do you have no idea where they came from?
Sometimes it's labeled, sometimes they don't. I guess it would just depend on what store you're at and the quality of that produce. But yeah, if you do see Mexico on it, if it does have a country of origin, I would be careful with that. And if you do buy that, make sure you wash it very well. Even though washing it doesn't wash off the parasite, still wash it. And if you can, cook it. Right, cooking any of these raw vegetables, that will kill the parasite.
Yeah, but the problem is you're not going to cook blueberries. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, that's the problem because they're water soluble inside them, so you're never going to really find out what this is. And this thing has been spreading. We've got thousands have been infected. Over 100 people have actually been hospitalized over this thing. So this thing is spreading, and we seem to have no way out of it. It seems like it's just going to work itself out over a long period of time now because it's just spreading. What can people do? What does the wellness company have? Like, what can I buy to make sure that if this stuff, if I start feeling the diarrhea coming on, I'm like, oh, here it is. I got it. It's not life-threatening. You just get very sick. What can I buy from that wellness company? What can help me get rid of it?
Yeah, so actually what the wellness company has is their emergency medication kits. And so what's in these kits is actually very helpful for cyclospora to have on hand. It has generic Bactrim. Bactrim is the mainstay treatment for cyclospora infection, right? And so there was a human trial on this actually, and it's in fact the only drug with a human trial in cyclospora infection. But what they found was it reduced parasite shedding time from about 12 days down to 5 days. So we know it does effectively treat this explosive diarrhea parasite in humans. And so with these medication kits, you can have that on hand, and target those parasites the moment they hit.
Every household should have one of these. I've been saying this forever. I just ordered another one just to replenish, because you can actually replenish what's in there, but we're just like, let's just get a new one. So I've got like 4 of them. So then we kind of combine stuff, but they just run out because we were just sick last week. All of us had the flu. We got rid of it. I never missed a day to work, either did Dan. Joe didn't miss one day of baseball because he's with us now over the summer in his rehab. All because we took everything that's in the medical emergency kit. I know you've been putting it off. You've been thinking about it, or maybe you've got one. Time to get another one for your family. Just be sure you have it, because when you don't have it is when you need it. Like my son Joe said, I was able to take this stuff that immediately so I could continue going back to College Park, going through my rehab. I had a bullpen. I could do that. I didn't miss any time in my recovery because I was able to get it immediately. If you try to go to a doctor, it's like days before you go. You get an appointment, and they did. Then you got to go to the drugstore. It's like 3 days go by. He said instead I was able to take this as soon as I felt the symptoms coming on, and it's gone. So check this out, folks. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla. Just do it now and get it over with. twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 10% off. Every family should have one. My wife Ann was telling me the other day, we take a lot of vitamins, and she's like, I went to the wellness company. I went to twc.health/Godzilla, and I wanted to buy another medical kit. You got to go through the doctor thing. And she said, well, I was there, like I saw all the vitamins that I normally buy at the grocery store. And the wellness company vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin C, they're all better. They're all higher concentrated. They come in better form, so it absorbs in your body. And she said, with the 10% off was cheaper. She said, why aren't you telling everybody to buy vitamins there that normally take these kind of vitamins, Nick?
Oh yeah, most definitively. And it's very nice, particularly when they are at higher concentrations. So, then you don't have to take so many pills. And they are high quality versions as well as of many of these vitamins. And so that's what's nice about the wellness companies. You can get your supplements, right? Your natural products, your vitamins, your minerals, as well as, the stronger stuff, the emergency medication kits for these major crises.
Nick, on a separate topic, the FDA peptide panel voted to allow for compounding of several peptides popular with fitness enthusiasts. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically, this FDA advisory panel did vote for most of the peptides, most of the mainstream peptides people are taking. These are actually, they're like short chains of amino acids, what make up proteins, and they serve as like signaling molecules in the body, and they have all sorts of effects. But what they voted on is to allow compounding pharmacies to prescribe these peptides. Before, it was kind of a gray area. Now they are moving forward to kind of allow patients to obtain these from their prescribing providers. And so I think this is good news. Peptides are showing lots of promise in the preclinical studies.
Got to stay healthy, man. That's what the whole thing's about. I take a lot of supplements from the wellness company, have my medically emergency kit. I never get sick. I can't remember the last time I missed a day other than planned vacation because I feel something coming on. Boom, I open it up. It's all right there. I take your vitamins. I'm good to go. Plus, for you guys out there, I know I'm covering a lot today, but like we had on, I think it was the Admiral the other day on Friday, Admiral Brian Christine said testosterone in guys, absolutely critical for your health. Take Zeus. I take 2 of those a day. I feel great, man. I feel great. Plus, you got to get a good night's sleep. That's the key, though. All this isn't going to matter if you're trying to get five hours a day. Just ain't going to work. Get a good night's sleep. Early to bed, early to rise. In the name of Ted Turner, he said, "My key to success: I go to bed early, I get up early." Same thing. Nick, thanks for being with us. All this stuff right here. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla. Get your medical emergency kit today. Don't get caught short getting all this diarrhea with all this stuff. twc.health/Godzilla. You're good to go. Nick, thanks for being with us. Promo code Godzilla 10% off. Promo code Godzilla 10% off. And check it out today. Nick, thanks for being with us. Quick word from our sponsors. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Yeah, you can't handle the truth, but you can here because I am Truth and Clarity. It's great to have you with us. Talking about truth and clarity, here's Tommy Lauren slamming the Republican Party for not doing jack crap, and why it's going to cost us in the midterms, and why young people, young men that voted for MAGA are frustrated. We don't have long to turn this around, but we got to get them out, and we got to fix this, and we got to do it now. Cut 4, Tommy Lawrence speaks the truth.
But I just keep hammering on the promises that were made that a lot of Republicans in office are not fulfilling. Mass deportations, they're not mass in any sense of the word. Yes, the border is closed, but a Democrat can open that wide up again, and we saw what happens when you do. But also Save America Act, we need voter ID, proof of citizenship. You know, if you can't get the full thing, at least get voter ID. Republicans can't get that across the finish line, and they want to take a break. They want to take a recess without doing that, and there are some that do want to stay and get it done. But I think you're going to see, especially maybe some young men who are frustrated that things are costing a lot. Maybe they can't get a high-paying job. Again, we got illegal aliens soaking up the job market in a lot of these places. So there's a lot of issues that Republicans have yet to address. I think that they can, but you have to answer something with something. You can't answer something with nothing. And you're going to see a lot of people that are not happy with the status quo. Bernie Sanders was right about one thing in that clip. And we saw the same thing when Kamala lost to President Trump, because Kamala was status quo and President Trump was a change. So the worst thing that can happen is you tell people things are going to stay exactly the same if they're already unhappy. I don't want Republicans to fall in the trap.
Jason, how do you think about the socialism in this country? Because was it someone came out and said, oh, this is good. The Democrats are, infighting. This is great for the Republican Party. And I'm looking at this. I am terrified that we are even talking about socialism. To me, this isn't good for Republicans. This is a warning that something is seriously going wrong with our youth in this country, that they think socialism is a good idea.
Yeah, the lack of quality education comes back to bite you 10, 20 years later, and we're seeing that play out now. And look, Shannon Bream did a good thing. All Republicans need to do is keep running that and just keep showing everybody. They literally want to tear down this country, every aspect of it. They are crazy. They are nutty. They are irresponsible. They are not adults in the room. And it is scary for America because there are a lot of people that actually want to go that direction. And Bernie Sanders has been fighting the oligarchy for I don't know how many decades and getting rich doing it. But I got to tell you, Republicans, the MAGA base, they're ticked. They're mad because you know what they wanted? Just what Tommy said. They want mass deportations. They want to enforce the border. They want lower gas prices and affordability. They don't want inflation. And they certainly want to pass the Save America Act. They don't understand why John Thune can't keep them in session. They don't need a 3-week recess for July 4th. They don't need to go on in August, the whole month on vacation. They got to follow the lead of Mike Lee and Rick Scott and these senators who actually want to be there and vote on it. If you're going to vote against it, then get out of the Republican Party, because this is what the base wants. Vote on it, and if it fails, vote again. Don't come home, don't go in some parade, and certainly don't go sit by the pool unless you get that passed. And until that happens, the MAGA Republicans are going to kind of sit on their hands and say, really? We gave you the House and Senate and the presidency. And the last thought is Democrats should be kicking their butts right now, but they are so lost in the woods. I think Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States. They don't have anybody. They don't have a person. They don't have a message. They don't have anything. So Republicans, get your act together. Do what Trump said we were going to do, and then actually do it. And you'll be surprised by the results, because the Republicans will be in power in perpetuity. But they.
I mean, even mass deportations, we can't get that done because we're afraid, right? Something goes wrong, we pull out of Minnesota. You just got to keep it going. I mean, we got 900 million out. We wanted 5 million out, 10 million out. It's not going to happen. But not passing the SAVE Act is just going to nail us. And the fact that they're going on vacation in August, it is just incredible. Every day you think the Republican conference can't get in the Senate, can't get any worse, it does. Let's get to Mike Walsh here. Let's get to Mike Walsh talking about the Iran war and how this is going to end. Let's get to cut 6, Mike Walsh, who would know what's going on if anybody does. Go ahead.
Unfettered access over Iran right now.
Mr. Ambassador, a lot of people are very interested in the timeline of this because President Trump had initially said that this conflict would last for a matter of weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. He said we are now at the 5-month mark. Will this war be over by the new year?
Well, first, this war has been going on for 47 years. These attacks on Americans,
not in this,
of course, not necessarily this intensity, but at some level, Iran has been at war with the United States. Heck, I was just looking at old video of under the Obama and then the Biden administration when they had, and the Obama administration when they had sailors on their knees when they seized one of our boats and captured them. So, look. We have to take a step back from a diplomatic standpoint. And of course, I'm here as the UN ambassador. The talks with Lebanon are progressing in a way that's historic. Syria is moving in the right direction. We just had the Iraqi foreign minister, not only here in the Oval Office, but then he goes to Houston and signs new oil deals. Our Gulf Arabs have never been more aligned with us. Iran is diplomatically isolated, economically isolated, and militarily devastated. They've never been so weak, and we're negotiating from a position of strength.
But very quickly, do you anticipate this conflict will be concluded by the new year?
Oh, I'm not going to put some kind.
What a stupid question. Obviously, he's not going to put a timeline on it. Look, let's get to 9. He was asked about why we halted the bombing. Go ahead, 9, Walsh.
Diplomatic standpoint, but to get to some reasonable resolution here.
So are strikes effectively halted for the next several days, or can we expect to see some strikes tonight, tomorrow, in the coming days?
Well, I would take the president very seriously if I was the Iranian regime. The U.S. military is locked and loaded. In fact, more assets have gone into the region. And as we've seen, we have focused on those assets that have illegally struck civilian shipping. I mean, look, we have to take a step back here. I mean, this is like the Somali pirates with cruise missiles. I mean, they are desperate in the sense that now we're attacking ships from Panama, from Cyprus, from Singapore. A number of civilian mariners have been killed. And at the end of the day, the president has decided, and he is going to see this through, that the Iranian regime cannot and will not have a nuclear weapon, but also they cannot illegally, in this kind of terrorist fashion, hold the rest of the world's economies hostage.
You raise assets. I want to ask you about the assets. NBC News is reporting the Pentagon.
Okay, so they're talking about our payload getting depleted. I'm not sure what the answer is to that is, but I mean, it was depleted under Biden. They put no money in it. Now we have a conflict that's down. They got to ramp up production. This thing is a mess, no question about it. But we got to end this thing. We got to open up the strait, take control of it, and end it, and then declare victory. As soon as the straits are open, you declare victory. The war's over. Who cares what they do? Who cares if they kill their own people? Just keep choking them off. Just open the straits by force, control it, be done with it. They shoot something, sink everything, kill them all. You have to, one little thing, they fire a slingshot, kill them all. Open the straits, control it, get a permanent solution, then declare victory. Then the American people will back you when oil goes on at $2. Gas, I mean. John Fredericks Media Network, Steve Bannon next. Keep it right here.
FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Bon Air, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth, AM 1650.
I'm Rich Thomason.
happened last evening at a popular food festival in the shadow of Seattle's iconic Space Needle.
Gunfire erupted around 6 p.m. local time in the waning hours of the annual three-day festival. Police say many officers provided security at the event, and some saw one of the suspects firing. A large number of police and emergency crews responded and began evacuating the area around the sprawling Seattle Center campus.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says 3 people were killed, 4 others, a 2-year-old boy among them, were injured. 1 suspect in custody. The hunt goes on for another. Police say the 2 were targeting each other and there's no ongoing threat to the general public. Global oil prices have eased now that the U.S. and Iran have paused their attacks on each other. The hope is that more talks could revive the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Along with his domestic agenda, President Trump will deal with some critical foreign policy matters this week.
While President Trump continues to weigh his options on Iran, he will also focus today on domestic issues as he heads to Michigan to talk about the economy at a General Motors facility and no doubt weigh in on candidates running in Michigan's primary on August 4th. The president is expected to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House. He will be in town for the funeral of Lindsey Graham on Tuesday at Washington National Cathedral. On Friday, the president is expected to hold another cabinet meeting, this one at Camp David. Laura Winters reporting.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu also due at the White House this week for talks with President Trump. Traffic set to start flowing today over a new crossing spanning the Detroit River, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, to serve as a critical route for trade, jobs, and tourism between Canada and the U.S. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures sharply higher. The Dow futures are up 568 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family. Echo. I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, John. Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
It's where I want to be.
That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The French wildfire situation remains dire, ditto in Spain.
A giant wall of smoke and the flames beneath are still approaching Bordeaux. These are the worst wildfires in France in decades. Hundreds of firefighters are battling night and day, dousing the flames, trying everything to stop the advance. But the wind keeps changing and the fire changing course. And Spain, too, is still battling a disaster. Here, close to Madrid, the fire has eased a little, but it's still burning. The Interior Ministry calls it the most aggressive that Spain has ever seen.
The BBC's Sarah Rainsford. Russian ballistic missiles struck Kiev over the weekend, igniting fires, wounding at least 3 civilians. Local officials report attacks in other parts of Ukraine that killed at least 2 people. These strikes follow Ukraine's successful drone attacks, which have stalled Russian advances, increasing pressure on Vladimir Putin. News and analysis at townhall.com. A U.S. appeals court upholds an injunction blocking President Trump's order to create a federal voter list.
The First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejects the Trump administration's effort to overturn an injunction blocking the mail-in voting restrictions in 23 U.S. states that sued ahead of November's midterm elections. The ruling came Saturday. President Trump's March executive order directed the Postal Service to only deliver mail ballots to people on a government-created list of eligible voters. In June, a federal judge ruled that the states and Congress, not the president, had the authority to set election rules. I'm Julie Walker.
Shares of Chinese memory chip maker CXMT have soared. The company began trading in Shanghai in mainland China's biggest IPO in recent years. CXMT raising at least $8.6 billion. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
Van Hillary has fought for America before, and he's ready to do it again. As an Air Force navigator in Desert Storm, Van's mission was simple: chart the course, stay on mission. When he came home to Tennessee, he won an election nobody thought a Republican could win. Then he did it again and again. For almost a decade, America First conservative Van Hillary has fought the radical left, stood with President Trump, and never folded, securing our border, cutting taxes, and bringing jobs to Tennessee.
Radical Democrats are trying to hijack our country. President Trump needs a conservative fighter who knows how to win. I'll keep fighting to help President Trump finish what he started, keeping our border secure, growing our economy, and destroying the woke agenda. I'm Van Hillary, and I approve this message because I'm standing with President Trump to get America back on mission.
America First conservative Van Hillary. He's never folded, and he never will. Paid for by Van for Tennessee.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
I'm your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with me. Steve Bannon coming up. Hey, a couple of quick announcements. Number one, as you know, did a press release the other day. We hit just under 22 million total listeners and viewers in the month of June. Set a record for the company as our listenership and viewership across our streaming platforms continues to explode. 22 million, just under that, 21.6 million. We thank everybody for helping us attain that, and hopefully we can sustain it going forward. Certainly with Steve Bannon coming on, well, that's the reason we're up. No doubt about it. He is the ratings guy of all time. So thank you, Steve, for doing that. Other announcement, we just are about to acquire another station in Nashville. So we'll have a compliment to WENO. We just put the paperwork into the FCC. That is a done deal. That'll be approved by the FCC probably in the next, 6 weeks is about when it takes now, 6 to 8 weeks. They move much faster than they did in the past. That's WAKM, AM 950 in Williamson County out of Franklin. So we'll have two stations in the Nashville market, and we'll be carrying both the Tennessee Titans there in Nashville and the Tennessee Volunteers. The Steelers will continue to be our national affiliate across our other network as our sports programming continues to expand. Also, our new sports show, Past the Wire Sports, that debuts Monday, 6 to 7 p.m., Monday to Friday across our entire network. That'll be sports analysis and a little bit of handicapping thrown in to complement Godzilla Wins, which is exploded in the last year. I have no idea how it's a cult following. Joining me now, though, what's more important, my ratings driver, Steve Bannon, is with us of War Room.
No.
Steve, thanks for being with us.
I got to tell you, if it's 20 million in June, John, it will be much, much higher over the next couple of months because we're 100 days away from game day, right? Or I guess 99 days today from game day. So you should see a big rating surge given your coverage of the MAGA movement. It's going to be pretty intense from now to game day.
The biggest fear we have is our MAGA voters staying home, disillusioned, war, deportations, gas prices, affordability, all the young men that we had coming over to MAGA. A lot of them now are saying, you know what, I'm done. Republicans don't do anything. They're looking at alternatives. How do we reverse this trend, Stephen K. Bannon?
Well, the good news is that, we have this time the Democrats have picked even a more radical crowd than than they normally do. So I think that's a big advantage to us. If you look at 2018, which I think is a pretty good benchmark to look at of how we got swept then with Pelosi. They had I think an 8-point or 9-point generic ballot lead. That lead has been cut down about half in the last 30 days. Decision Desk had, I think the first time I started coming back on regularly, John, was a couple of weeks ago. Decision Desk at that time had just published, their analysis. And they and Cook, I think, are two pretty good bedrocks to look at. Cook's got it much, much tighter, but Decision Desk had a 25-seat basically spread on Democrats. I think it would come out as like 229 or 230 to 205 or something like that. But it was like a 25-seat spread. That's been cut. That's down to 15 seats of analysis they put out last night or over the weekend. What you can tell is there's definitely a tightening here, and the tightening is that the Democrats just offer really too radical an alternative, and they really don't talk about it. They talk about affordability, but since the Democrats caused it under Biden and they refuse to cut spending, you see that they really don't have alternatives. The good news is that President Trump's policies he won on the 24 are still very popular. Border security, mass deportations, et cetera. So we just got to get back, I think. And I'm not so sure this is going to come down to young men. Obviously, that part of the coalition was amazing, just like Make America Healthy Again was amazing in 2024 and led to this sweeping win. I'm of the belief that this is really not a persuasion. This is very much a, turn out the vote, turn out your base vote, turn out your most diehard people, particularly the leadership of that, to get them motivated to lead this effort, where early voting starts some places late September, but to drive all the way through Election Day. And that intensity gap, I think, is more than even the polling is the problem. The Washington Post had a really good piece out on Saturday. I'll make sure I get to you. That showed there's about a 10-point gap in intensity right now. The one thing about the Democratic Socialists and the far left of this Democratic Party, they're very intense on this. They see this as a way to stop not just President Trump, but what they refer to as Trumpism and MAGA. And so I think that what we have to do is start to get back to core policies that are the bedrock of MAGA. And it's inextricably linked. The voter fraud of 2020, right? In particular, the voter security issues today, as you've seen, because have covered New Jersey so closely, Mikey Sherrill, what's happening in New Jersey and across the nation. With this voter integrity, which is inextricably linked to the mass deportations and getting the illegal alien invasion out of here, and also for non-citizen aliens that are here that haven't been deported because their TPSs run out, or all these other programs is to make sure they're not registered to vote. Now, obviously, the House is gone. One of the reality checks, since the House left last week, they're not back, I think, to after Labor Day. They've just taken off, and the Senate is still messing with President Trump. I've been a big advocate, as you know, of a throwdown. We got to have a throwdown with Soon right now. It's the only thing that's going to do it. The best news I've heard about that is President Trump did tweet out or put up on Truth Social yesterday for the first time. He put up an analysis of the recess appointments that happened under President Reagan, happened under Bush, 43, Bush 45, or Bush 40, 41 and 43, the first two Bushes, which were in the hundreds, right? And President Trump has had 0 recess appointments because they've not gone an official day of recess. I think that shows you a sharpening of the focus of President Trump, exactly what the problem is, which is a Senate that treats him like a lame duck. And I think that's got to be rectified. Particularly, it's got to be rectified to motivate. I think those type of fights right now are what's going to motivate the base that, hey, President Trump is back to core policies, is fighting for these, particularly voter security and immigration, illegal immigration, particularly deportations. And I think those two fire up the base, particularly the leadership of the grassroots, and we get back into this is going to be tough. I mean, people should understand if we hold serve here, I think it'll be by a couple of seats max. So going forward, that's going to mean that, hey, the same grind we have right now is going to be the grind we have in the future. But if we lose the House in particular, you're going to have the White House is going to be Fort Apache for a couple of years. It's going to be very, very, very difficult, very tough to make anything happen. So I think right now we're in actually better shape than I thought we would be. It's incredibly tight, and it's going to be about turnout. This is a base election. It's going to be turnout of your base.
Steve, define throwdown. You said we have to have a throwdown with Leader Thune, which in and of itself is an oxymoron. What do you mean by throwdown?
I mean, I think there ought to be a leadership contest right now. I don't see any way around it. I mean, Thune has been an obstructionist for President Trump time and time again, and including just blowing him off. I mean, last week they had pretty sharp words, of which, Caroline Leavitt said at the podium, I think it was her first official day back, or the big press conference they had last week, and she said, President Trump's running out of patience with the leader, and his response was, "Hey, you guys got telephone, call and switch some votes, and which is to me, he's leader for one reason. He's got to be the whip. He's got to be the one that either threatens to take away chairmanships, subcommittee chairmanships, move their offices to the basement. I mean, it's now time. You've got to if you need to put some muscle. Everything in the Senate is done to protect the most vulnerable members, right? So everything we're doing is to protect Susan Collins, essentially, right? Or the Beauty Murkowski in Alaska. So this cycle it's obviously Collins, but everything's done to protect the weakest member. That's their mentality. Therefore, you just get a bowl of mush. Nothing really happens. Nothing passes. I mean, Mike Lee and Eric Schmidt and others, this heroic effort back in April, I think it was April, maybe early May, to actually try to pass and do a filibuster on the Save America Act was every night. Remember, we would cover it every night from like 7 to midnight. They were trying to get a standing, they were trying to break the filibuster, get a standing filibuster, and it went nowhere. Not because of their efforts, because Stu didn't back it. So here we're in a situation right now. The House is gone. They've passed the Save America. There's all this, remember, we haven't passed the authorization bill, haven't passed a budget. You're going to have a CR. They've already told you that they're going to have something because we can't possibly shut down the government, right? That's forbidden. That we're going to have a CR. It's going to kick the can down the road to the end of the year. We're going to get a omnibus. This is why we're still spending is a great piece, I think, in the Washington Post this morning, how we're still funding all the NGOs that came up during the pandemic that led to the border, invasion and other ills that we see in our major cities, where the Democratic Socialists, these John C. Calhoun nullification experts are nullifying, the federal law about immigration and other things. So we're in a horrible jam on spending, and the linchpin seems to be nothing. President Trump said it the other night, the Senate is where things go to die. And to me right now, I don't think we can afford to come back in September, 30 days away from game day while early voting is going on and have another impasse with the Senate. I recommend, if you know better than I do, because at 20 million listeners, you're taking calls every day. You guys have a pretty good feel for what the base thinks, particularly the leadership of the base.
Yeah, they're pissed.
and they would love to see. You want to energize the base, have a throwdown with Senate leadership about you haven't done anything, you've blocked us, and it's. I think President Trump's setting up that because he has not really been that aggressive in pushing this concept of recess appointments, and we have people backed up. We have people backed up for a year, and some people I'm talking to saying, "Hey, they say they're not going to get to these people until November." So you have plenty of backup, and every time they panic that President Trump's going to do something on recess appointments, they act like they did last September. If you remember, they passed. They approved. They came back from August recess. President Trump threatened a fight, and I think they approved 100 people move through. People were able to get these guys through very quickly. Mike Lee, et cetera, who has been arguing for a recess appointments and official recess. People should know that this is a technicality, but the Senate has not been on an official recess, which would allow a president to make recess appointments since the very day of President Trump's first term in office. In 5.5 years, 4 of the first term and 1.5 in the second, they have not been on official recess one day. They always have this kabuki theater. One person shows up. They kind of have a phony, we're still in session. And the reason is Mitch McConnell has basically said his construct is still what drives the Senate. He's saying, hey, I don't trust Trump. We wouldn't even give him 1 day as recess for potential recess appointments. So we're always going to play this kabuki theater. And Thune is just he follows the construct of McConnell, which is the Senate is there to do what the Senate wants to do, not to support MAGA, definitely not to support MAGA, and not only to support Trump, where it fits into their agenda. Now, the decision desk has it right now as a draw in the Senate that we would lose 3 seats that we currently have. And people should understand right now of all the grief that MAGA got about Texas and Paxton. If you look at the polling as of last night from a number of different sources, if you take Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Iowa, and Alaska, and Texas, the only place that the Republican candidate, I think, is in the lead in the polling is in Texas with Ken Paxton. All the others were losing. Now it's going to depend. The president is going today to Michigan to back Mike Rogers. Michigan has its primary next week, I believe. We'll see if it's more of just a progressive candidate or this kind of radical Marxist jihadist who very well could win.
Steve, I agree with you 100%. And I was stunned by Thune saying, well, this is on the White House, pick up the phone. Why don't they pick up the phone and tell the guy to get out of there and put somebody else in? I don't really understand how you can be leader and just not do anything and now go on a recess. He wouldn't even have a vote on the recess. He just goes and everybody goes home again to lie at the pool or the beach or something. And they've done nothing. What is the level of frustration out there, Steve, on this?
Your point's very well taken. It's not people in your audience should ask or should call John and tell him particularly. I'm kind of blown away by the House just leaving last week, and because I thought at first I said, "Oh no, it's just a long weekend," and somebody said, "No, they've gone on recess." And I said, "No, they must be taking a week, coming back at least for a week in August, and then going." And they said, no, they're gone. And they may be back at Labor Day. And it may be, officially it's supposed to be the 14th. I think you're right. Here's the thing. They don't take these recesses to go back and have town halls. You will not see your senators at town halls in your states taking your inquiries and having you guys opine on their job performance. You won't see these guys. They're all running for the hills. And that's why I think the arrogant response of them just shows you the attitude. It's Trump's problem. Like the president's got the weight of the world on his shoulders trying to fix everything. And particularly take on now this, which I think people can't hide anymore. You've got essentially 2 countries. The major cities, the major metropolitan areas in our country are run lock, stock, and barrel by the most radical element you can have out there. But that bases their victories upon illegal alien invaders voting and or non-citizen aliens that are here being registered and voting, right? And it's these foreigners that are driving these cities from New York to Los Angeles. It's a problem nobody wants to address, but it's got to be addressed because it's more of a national security threat than anything going on in downtown Tehran.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be addressed. And with the Senate responses of John Thune, if Trump wants the Save America Act passed, he's got a phone. He should start making some calls. To me, that's where you hit a tripwire. When Caroline Leavitt, who I think is fantastic at the podium, when she says the president's running out of patience, they should take that as a papal bull, right? Instead of dismissing it, well, it's Trump's problem. To me, this is what I've been advocating for months and months and months and months. That's the attitude of the Senate. And if you think you can win in November, and particularly the Senate, if you think you can hold these seats or maybe even pick up one or two and keep control of the Senate, with that attitude of treating President Trump like a lame duck, not giving him any recess appointments, not doing anything to further his plan, but to further your plan, that's not the way. Your intensity, 10-point gap in intensity, is going to remain, because a lot of people, and you know this better than anybody, a lot of people are just going to say, I'm out this time. I might vote, but I'm certainly not going to canvass. What we have to have is those grassroots leaders that you saw in Texas, you saw in Virginia, grassroots leaders stepping up to the plate and saying, yes, we're going to take leadership here. We've got a massive get out the vote, just like in 24. We're going to have an organized get out the vote program. We're going to work. We're going to be the tip of the spear. We're going to be putting out the message that we can't turn this over to these radical Democrats. And the way to do that is get back to core policies, but also, I think, have a throwdown right now, a fight over Senate leadership about, is it going to be John Thune's Senate or is it going to be Donald Trump's Senate?
I think that one thing energizes the base. Win or lose, we want to fight. We want to play to win the game, and we're not playing to win the game. And that is the frustrating. Nobody wants to play for a team that doesn't want to win. You're just not going to give 100% when everybody else is sloughing off. I mean, both of us have played ball. I mean, you played baseball. I played baseball. You can't, if you're out there pitching and you know that half your team doesn't give a rat's ass, I mean, it's really hard to be successful. And that's kind of where they're at right now. It's just a horrible situation. I think you're 100% right. And for Thune to say, well, I'm the leader, but it's up to the president, like he doesn't do anything. That's the frustration. We're with Stephen K. Bannon, War Room, 10 to noon, Monday to Friday. You can get him on RAV and everything else, 5 to 6, and then 10 on Saturday.
Congratulations on the great ratings, and
thanks.
It's only going to get bigger because we're 100 days out, and I think we're 60 days out from the bulk of the nation starting to early vote, and we got a fight on our hands, folks. So stay tuned. John, thank you so much for having me on.
Wait, Steve, final thing, Iran war.
Yeah.
You've got to break this down for us. There's been a pause in the bombing. A lot of people are saying there's no clear strategy. There's no way out. We're not in it to win it. Nobody knows what's going on. Now we've got the Red Sea, the Houthis firing bows and arrows, and then the price of gas goes up 50 cents because somebody threw a rock at a ship. That's basically it. What the hell's going on here, Steve?
Well, it could get worse. This meeting with Netanyahu and Zelensky on tomorrow at the White House is very big. We've been the first to say, hey, look, you got to be very careful. This thing could expand from southern Lebanon to the Red Sea. We've been all over, focus on the Houthis, because as soon as they get engaged in this means another carrier strike group leaving Norfolk, going over there now to protect the Europeans, since NATO doesn't have any ships and won't put anything out there what they got. It's going to be another burden to the Americans. Folks better very closely pay attention to Zelensky. Zelensky took out, I think, an Iranian tanker the other day, and he's talking about they want to expand this fight. They want to merge the two wars. They want to merge the Russian-Ukraine fight over eastern Ukraine. They want to merge that with this situation in the Middle East. If you have that, you're going to have something that could very easily spin out of control. So the president's, the other day he had an option, called everybody together. It's been pretty well reported. They had a massive, go up the escalatory ladder on the kinetic part of this, including a massive bombing. He'd already done 12 days. I think it was another 2 weeks, another 14 days or so of another massive bombing campaign that this time started to go into civilian infrastructure to get their attention, to get them to the table. And, there's all types of issues. Do we have the missiles? Do we have the capacity? How's the fleet doing out there with operations? And now they're back to the table. So, there's some elements, as I've warned from day one, they've done such a good job of decapitating the leadership over there, particularly the mullahs and the radical Islamists, that the IRGC seems to be in charge of things. However, you didn't get a bunch of Jeffersonian Democrats to the top, to the decision making. You get some pretty hardcore people, and who's actually in charge, particularly who's in charge and can make a decision in Hormuz, right? And who's now the MOU had a part that I really disagreed with. I thought opened up a Pandora's box, and the MOU set up that the Persians, the Iranians, were going to also be in conjunction with Oman to talk about some sort of control mechanism for the Strait. I think bringing Oman or anybody else into this is a total disaster. So right now, I would tell people President Trump is trying to look for an off ramp that does his number one objective is to make sure he's totally obliterated the nuclear program with leaving and having freedom of navigation for the Strait of Hormuz. That's a complicated, heavy lift. They're working on it 24/7. They're using the kinetic part as a stick to pound the Persians back to the table and offer a few carrots to get something done and extract us. But I would tell people right now, I would very much focus on this war actually expanding. As we said and warned, from southern Lebanon now to the Red Sea, this thing's actually a geographic area actually expanded, and Zelensky's up to no good. We've never been a fan of Zelensky. And by the way, they fought as good a fight as you possibly could against the Russians. We just shouldn't be putting any more money into it, but they're fighting with drone technology and other aspects. They're pound for pound. They're delivering some real blows. What Zelensky wants to do in his own self-interest is, I think, expand this where the Ukraine war is actually now locked into with the Turks and with Syria and Lebanon locked into the Middle East war. If that happens, if this war is connected from the Red Sea all the way up through that crescent to Ukraine, folks, you got a problem that's a 20-year problem, not a 2-month problem. So we got to be very careful. And I think President Trump's this is why I'm so upset about the Senate. The president's got the weight of the world on his shoulders and trying to figure out these different alternatives, negotiate, also take care of national security, and everything we have with the financial issues, and particularly these AI investments. Looks like, it could be dragging down the stock market, the bond market, all of it. And on top of this, you got a Senate that's telling Trump, hey, pick your phone up, and if you want to get your Save America Act, if election security is so important to you, you make some phone calls. And that's why I think now, this week, we need a throwdown and a fight of Senate leadership and see if we can't get a replacement for John Thune.
Final thing, and you got to go. Your assessment of AI right now.
Well, the containment was we've been warning about, from these data centers to look at the state of the markets with the investment. This is, folks understand, we have a highly leveraged, given we're at $40 trillion in debt, we're in a $2 trillion deficits because we're still working off Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's numbers with these continual CRs. We have a highly leveraged bet as a nation. The nation's business model right now is a highly leveraged bet, doubled down with high leverage on these companies, borrowing like crazy for these data centers for AI, on AI having massive productivity increases that doesn't entail the concomitant layoffs of STEM workers. That's I think, an incredibly risky bet. And I think if you look at it, that bet ain't paying off right now. Whether you look at the bond issues they've got or the stocks they got, you look at what's happened to SpaceX, which is very tied to artificial intelligence, it's a problem. Then you look at the Chinese, their advancements. Scott Bessent's even warned about their open AI, that they're stealing American technologies as also from intellectual property theft. We're still we're allowing them to have access to chips through third parties, through black markets. They just announced last week these huge developments they've had in open AI versus some of our frontier labs. Those have come through getting the NVIDIA chips, as we've warned about. The export controls are not tough enough. We should have an absolutely zero tolerance policy. The Chinese Communist Party should not get access to any chips, black market or not. The other thing we should do is send every kid every Chinese student that's in an American university should go home immediately. and every Chinese national that's working at one of these companies in the United States should go home immediately. We have to take a very hard stance on this. In addition, as we've argued for some at least rudimentary, the executive order coming out to make these tests mandatory, not voluntary. You saw last week one of these models broke its own containment. And I would really recommend your audience get online and get these news stories. You owe it to the country to get up to speed on what artificial intelligence is doing. These models, one of the models broke out of containment, right, when it's still being tested in its own lab before it being put out to the public. It broke containment, went online, cyber hacked another company to get actually kind of content from the company. And if you look at the report, actually the original model was leaving messages to its future self, right? Its future self, its advancements, its next model, its next advancement of how to break containment. These things are very scary. We only have a modicum of understanding of how they work, of how they can break out. And, if you talk to all the guys, these frontier labs, their number one concern is these AI models breaking containment and getting out and hacking into the biotech space to cause pathogens that could lead to another massive pandemic. When you have these type of risks, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to the American people that you have a handful of oligarchs that are gaining all the wealth and all the power, not spreading around to anybody, and quite frankly are out of control. And the White House is doing the job as best they can do, but it's got to get a lot tougher on this. And then I haven't even got to the data centers, which is another scam in and of itself. Just anticipate a data center is going to pop up in a neighborhood nearby to you. You've never heard about it. You didn't know the county commissioners were thinking about it. You and your neighbors, whether your neighbors are left-wing Democrats or super MAGA, all oppose it. It doesn't matter because it's going to end up in your neighborhood. That's where we are with artificial intelligence. It's got tremendous potential for the future, but that potential has to be. It's just like the atomic energy at the beginning of the nuclear age. You need something like an atomic energy commission to just put a basic rudimentary regulatory framework around this. So make sure that all these developments are for the good of the nation and not just for a handful of oligarchs that are driving us.
So machines breaking containment to communicate with other machines to make their own decisions based on what the machine wants. Is that what you've said?
Yes, exactly. This thing last week was big. And there's a number of articles. In fact, I'll get you some, John. The people really owe it to themselves now to get the basics of what's going on with these. When the top experts, and what turns out, the company went to the White House first because obviously it's a national security issue, and they were able to handle it. Although they're still there still hasn't been a definitive report of what happened. I do know from the latest report saying that the machine itself, as it was breaking containment, left notes to its future self of how to break containment. That should be very scary to people. We only have a very rudimentary understanding of how to control this. This is from the top companies in the world and the top people in the world who are aghast about what these machines can do.
Stephen K. Bannon, I want to thank you for your time. We overextended it today. I don't want to put you in a tough spot. I know you got a lot going on, but I want to thank you for sharing that with our audience, Steve. I really appreciate your insight.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck this month. Hope we have another big one. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Stephen K. Bannon. Quick word from our sponsors, Barry Draper, when I get back. Fascinating conversation with Steve.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com. Code Godzilla for 20% off.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Hey, Dan, we got that song up from Barry? Were you able to do that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, let's roll with that. All right, great job. Joining me now, the author of this song, the writer, the songwriter, the vocalist, the whole bit, Barry Draper. Barry, thanks for being with us I don't know how you come up with this stuff, but all of our songs now are Barry Draper songs. We've got Larry the announcer and Barry the vocalist. You've definitely upped our imaging here on the John Fredericks Show. So, Barry, brilliantly done. Thank you.
Oh, I'm telling the whole world today that Steve Bannon opened for Barry Draper on the John Fredericks Show.
I tell you what, that is exactly what happened. Steve Bannon was your opener.
Yeah.
The Barry Draper Show, but I don't know how you come up with these songs. I know you got two of them, Dan. I sent you two, so we're gonna play one. Play one tomorrow. We'll see that. Cut them both up. But Barry, great job. And we got like how many we have now, Dan? Five of them, Dan?
Yeah, about 4 or 5, I think. Yeah.
I think you had 3, right, that we play in a rotation, and now you got 2 more to cut up, so you'll have 5. So we can play one a day, right? Two a day. You can play 1 at 6, 1 at 8. So yeah, it's kind of fun. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun.
No, listen, I appreciate the effort, and what they say, it takes a village to get all this done. So thank you, Barry. They're fun songs, and we don't have to worry about copyright or any of that other stuff because they're Barry Draper proprietary songs. You got a lot of talent, but the other talent you got is in the health insurance business, because it doesn't matter where you go or where you live. You can call Barry and get an assessment for his healthcare plan, which is going to save people a lot of money. It's better coverage. Barry, tell us a little bit about that. How people just call up and get a quote, Barry.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to make people understand. It doesn't matter where anyone is getting their healthcare plan these days. I have found that if I can talk to 10 people, I can save 7 or 8 of those people money and give them better coverage on the Smart Health plan. And hey, there's no risk in calling me and finding out, and there's no pressure. If I can't save you money, if I can't give you better coverage, a better deal, we're still friends. We still are trying to save America, right?
Yeah, look, just go to mountaineerhealthplan.com, mountaineerhealthplan.com. You can also call Barry, 833-752-6742. And the beauty of what Barry's done is if you get your plan through work and your spouse is on it or your significant other is on it, they can save you money. If you're self-employed, if you're in the 1099 gig economy, you're a contract worker and you make too much money for tax credit subsidized, which is a good thing, they're going to save you significant money. If you're retiring early or on Cobra, Cobra's very expensive. Save us. Call them. They're going to save you money. Everyone should know that the government allows everyone to save $4,200 per year into an HSA and allows you to write that entire amount off your taxes. So if you're married and file jointly, you can double that amount. If you're over the age of 50 like me, I'm 68, you can add another $1,000 to that as a catch-up. And then you can invest this HSA money into any asset class: gold, crypto, silver, real estate, stocks, mutual funds, and grow these investments tax-free. Barry, it doesn't get better than that.
That's right. Everybody needs to be taking advantage of the free money, right? And that's part of the big, beautiful bill, that President Trump gave us a short time ago. These HSAs are an incredible tool that everybody can participate in and should be.
How did you come up with this?
Oh, now the HSA or Smart Health?
Smart Health.
Okay, Smart Health is a company that is based out of Dallas, Texas. I'm actually one of their leading broker agencies, the Smart Health Agency. And my good friend Dan Hinton up in the Atlanta area is one of the co-owners. I became friends with him about 4 years ago, and we've gone through several iterations of the plan, and where we've settled in right now is a really sweet spot for the American people. We can help a lot of people with this.
So can people just do they go to Mountaineer health.com or smarthealth.com, or is it the
I
same?
apologize for the confusion there. Mountaineer Healthcare is because of my relationship with Smart Health, I'm able to market this under any name that I choose. We did Mountaineer Healthcare for the people in West Virginia, and especially as we were promoting the West Virginia Mountaineers in their College World Series run. Yeah, it's Mountaineer Healthcare still works. It's just a label that we slapped on it for the folks in West Virginia, but it's a smart health plan.
So do you go to smarthealth.com or mountaineerhealthplan.com?
Mountaineerhealthplan.com will get you there. The phone number is the same no matter how we're marketing. You can also go to thesmarthealthplan.com and see the same thing.
Let me jot that down. The Smart Health.
smarthealthplan.com.
Thesmarthealthplan.com. You know,
Mountaineer Healthcare, Mountaineer Health Plan, excuse me, lost my voice there. Mountaineerhealthplan.com still works and will.
Right, but thesmarthealthplan.com, because because if you're in Pennsylvania, then you're thinking, well, it's just for West Virginia. So I'm going to change that today, Dan, and tell Tina to change this to the smarthealthplan.com, thesmarthealthplan.com, and Dan, change that, because I think that's just a better way for people to understand. But I've talked to some people on it, and they've told me that they're saving between 35 and 40% if you have an unsubsidized health plan, and the coverage is better because you got a $15 PPO. You've got the ability to do pharmaceutical, to get drug coverage, and like you've got that $15 copay, and you're saving almost between 35 and 40% on an unsubsidized plan for better coverage.
John, it's a four-legged stool. You have your catastrophic coverage covered by a 501c3 charitable trust share plan. You have your outpatient covered by a nationwide PPO. As you've mentioned, you have a fully tiered prescription drug plan, and you have a 365-day a year, 24/7 hour a day Recuro Healthcare telemedicine plan. You can contact a doctor. You can be on the phone with a doctor in 15 minutes everywhere across the country. We did Trucking for Truth a while ago. I know you have a huge trucking audience. For our truckers out there, this is a great healthcare plan. It covers you wherever you are across the country.
That's the amazing thing of it, is that doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be able to save money. But the beauty of this is just get a quote. I mean, just get a quote, talk to Barry and his people, get a quote, and then you got options. And then you can compare Barry's plan against what you have and see what makes sense for you and your family. And the only thing you have to do is go to thesmarthealthplan.com, thesmarthealthplan.com, or give Barry's a team a call. Dan, that number again, put it on the Chiron so that we have it. You can just give them a call. 83.
I got it. 833-752-6742.
833-752-7642. You have nothing to lose. And the thing is, 67. Let's say it again. 833-752-6742.
That's right.
You have nothing to lose here.
By the way, that spells Plan SHC. Plan SHC.
Well, that's pretty smart. Yeah. Not that I would ever be able to match all those numbers to letters, but yeah. Plan A. Okay. Now look, you got to have an edge. But the thing is, we've been struggling. Everybody's been struggling to find a decent healthcare plan that you can afford. And when you're paying thousands of dollars a month and your coverage sucks, it's very dispiriting. And there's never an end in sight. And Obamacare was a catastrophe. Prices went up. I mean, everything went up. And the medical healthcare plans, the drug, they just made more money. The whole thing was a disaster. So this is a way around it. You get great coverage. And I love what your company has done, because they've combined, like the 501c3 with the catastrophic coverage. They've combined different things. in order to get you package it and give you the best plan possible, Barry.
Yes, that's right. And as we mentioned a while ago, all of these plans are HSA qualified and they come with a free HSA account. All you have to do is when you're opening your plan with us, we'll help you open an HSA account. And from that account, again, you can invest in anything you want to invest in, and all the returns are tax free.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't beat it. And if you need it, it's there for health if you need it. If it isn't, it continues to grow. It's not like it's just sitting there collecting no money, right? You can still grow it. And then if something happens and you need to take some of it out for a medical emergency, boom, it's there. You got it. And if you don't, even better, it stays in there and grows. How do you even, I mean, and it's tax deductible. How do you beat that?
Yeah, and I got even better news. If you're approaching 65 and you're saving this money along, I try to get my clients to be saving $10, $15, $20,000 before they hit the age of 65. Once you're 65, you can use that money that you've saved to actually pay your Part B Medicare premiums out of that pool of funds as well. So you're taking tax-free money and using it to pay a future tax.
I mean, it just makes sense. It makes sense. And the other thing you're going to get with Barry is you're going to get with his team personalized service. And right now, for us, it's all about personalized service. If I can't get service from the company I deal with, I just won't deal with them. If I've got to go, punch 5 numbers to get something, to then get somebody in India that doesn't know me, doesn't know what they're talking about, forget about it. The other day I was trying to get something. I end up with after being on hold 10 minutes, I end up with a fellow in India, I guess, working out of his home, babies screaming, dogs barking. It's like, what? I mean, this is not a professional environment. I just want an answer on something that I was trying to do for my dental plan. And I end up with some guy in India working out of his house. I mean, it's insane what is done. So, but Barry's going to give you the personalized service. He's going to talk to you. I mean, that's the beauty of dealing with an agent, because it's a business he's in, just talking to customers, Barry.
Yes, that's right. It's a difficult thing. And I talk with people every day who go through some of the same things you're mentioning. You're not alone.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're going to save money. I mean, better coverage, save money. Plus you get the $15 PPO within the network. When you talk about your in-doctor network, how big are they? I mean, do they cover the majority of towns out there?
Yes, right. So the way that works is there are different levels or tiers of PPOs across the country. This is a tier 2 PPO. A tier 1 PPO would be like United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, Anthem, Blue Cross. Those are tier 1s. This is a tier 2 PPO. We predict about 85 to 90% of the providers are in this network already. And the good news is, if you happen to have a provider that you want to use that is not in the network will let you nominate your doctor to the network. And we have about a 90% rate of success in getting those doctors into the network, because it is a PPO. It is not an HMO. And most doctors are willing to sign up with a PPO network.
Well, I tell you what, Barry, you guys have got it figured out. Give Barry a shot today. Just go to thesmarthealthplan.com, thesmarthealthplan.com, and you're going to be good to go there, thesmarthealthplan.com. And Barry, I love what you guys are doing. Give the phone number out again, Barry.
Yeah, thank you. 833-752-6742.
Give Barry a call today, thesmarthealthplan.com, or give him a call, 833-752-6742, a proud sponsor of the John Fredericks Media Network and our featured imaging songwriter and vocalist. Barry got a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
You missed your calling.
Thank you.
But you're saving people money instead.
That's it. I like helping people.
Well, you're helping us. So
thanks, sir. Appreciate the opportunity.
Always great to have you on. Call Barry today. Great guy. Give him a holler. You got nothing to lose. All you got to lose is not saving money. That's it. Better health coverage. Spend less money. It's the most brilliant thing ever. Barry, thanks for being with us. Pennsylvania Posse next.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Accusing New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani of stoking fear and hate. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu vows to visit New York soon. Mamdani has called Netanyahu a war criminal who the mayor says should be arrested if he sets foot in the U.S.
Speaking Sunday on Fox News Channel, Netanyahu said he intends to attend the United Nations General Assembly gathering of world leaders in September. Mamdani said last week that while New York lacks legal authority to execute the arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court, he encouraged the federal government to do so. President Donald Trump has said Netanyahu won't be arrested. Netanyahu dismisses the ICC charges tied to the war in Gaza as bogus. Bernie Bennett reporting.
The U.S.-Iran war is on hold again. The two sides have refrained from additional attacks. There's a prospect of a resumption of talks aimed at reviving their ceasefire. The pause in the fighting has led to falling oil prices and rising stock futures on Wall Street. AAA's current national average for a gallon of regular gas, $4.11. That's unchanged from yesterday. In Seattle last evening,
we started getting shooter, and there was like a stampede of people just running, knocking down a lot of products from the vendors, etc.
Gunfire near Seattle Space Needle during a popular food festival.
There were a total of 7 victims that suffered gunshot wounds at the scene. And we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims.
Seattle Assistant Police Chief Tyrone Davis says the suspects in custody. The search for a second continues. Says the gunmen were shooting at each other and there's no ongoing threat to the general public. President Trump plans to focus on the economy and his economic agenda during today's visit to a GM plant in suburban Detroit. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are up almost 600 points. The Nasdaq futures 387 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
French President Macron has called a crisis meeting to address uncontrolled wildfires, forcing over 250,000 people to flee their homes. In one region, southwest of France, flames have burned an area that's 4 times the size of Paris. Officials say the situation did remain globally stable overnight. That's a change from previous days with no new evacuations having been announced. With France entering its peak tourist season, local authorities have banned holiday camps for youngsters and people with disabilities. Ukrainian President Zelensky set to meet with British Prime Minister Andy Burnham at a naval base in England. Burnham says the visit is designed to underline unwavering British support for Ukraine. Zelensky's trip is the first by a foreign leader since Burnham took office a week ago. He will be the 5th British Prime Minister the Ukrainian president has dealt with since 2022. Townhall.com. Government may not mind spending other people's money, but those whose money is being spent, they feel differently. They're fleeing high tax states. The statistics prove it.
Analysis from Unleash Prosperity says Americans continue relocating across state lines, shifting both population and income. The report lists Florida and Texas as the biggest net gainers of residents, while New York and California saw the largest population losses. Researchers say migration patterns can affect state economies by moving consumer spending, workers, and tax revenue from one state to another. Ken Lorman reporting.
Federal appeals court has upheld a judge's ruling that halted President Trump's attempts to create a federal voter list and limit who can receive a mail-in ballot. Judges of the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejecting the administration's effort to overturn an injunction. Townhall.com.
Van Hillary has fought for America before, and he's ready to do it again. As an Air Force navigator in Desert Storm, Van's mission was simple: chart the course, stay on mission. When he came home to Tennessee, he won an election nobody thought a Republican could win. Then he did it again and again. For almost a decade, America First conservative Van Hillary has fought the radical left, stood with President Trump, and never folded, securing our border, cutting taxes, and bringing jobs to Tennessee.
Radical Democrats are trying to hijack our country. President Trump needs a conservative fighter who knows how to win. I'll keep fighting to help President Trump finish what he started, keeping our border secure, growing our economy, and destroying the woke agenda. I'm Van Hillary, and I approve this message because I'm standing with President Trump to get America back on mission.
America First conservative Van Hillary. He's never folded, and he never will. Paid for by Van for Tennessee.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
Folks, this is Crime Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Ponder this. All of God's children, you and I, have been created in God's own image. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? One thing we do know about God is that He is perfectly free. So He created us perfectly free to follow Him and free to deny Him. We have the choice. Our choice, however, has eternal consequences. It is the biggest decision in your life. I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, want the final elevator ride to go up, not down. How we live on this earth determines our eternal destination, up or down, heaven or hell, and yes, hell is real. God has rules for us to follow in order to be admitted into His heavenly home. Just like the rules you may have for people to enter your home, maybe you do not allow smoking or profane language, God too has rules. There are are 10 of them. We are called to obey his rules, not to change them, adapt them, or ignore them. The 10 Commandments guide our entry into eternal life. We must obey his rules in order to enter his heavenly home. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who trucks the truth from coast to coast, John Fredericks.
You're on the Godzilla of Truth. I am your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Pennsylvania Posse coming up. Well, it's me and Scott Barger, baby. That's it. It's the John and Scotty Show coming your way. Live in Washington, D.C. We got Jeff Kaufman is going to be joining us. Oh, my God. I was at his press conference on Friday. Was he fired up? I never saw anything like it. Kaufman just becoming unglued at what the Democrats have done for the Iowa caucuses. We'll get there in a minute. This segment brought to you by the Safer Supervision Act. Here's what's broken. Federal probation officers are managing over 100 cases each. Twice what's recommended for them to be able to manage. Now, people are slipping through the cracks, and that makes all of us less safe. The Safer Supervision Act, which is right now in markup in the Senate and in the House, fixes this. It lets officers focus on real public safety threats instead of drowning in needless paperwork, and it's endorsed by the frontline officers who say it's going to help them do their jobs better. 96% of Trump voters say public safety has to come first. This bill delivers that. More information. Let's get it passed. Go to safersupervision.com. Call your congressman. Call your senator now. Pass this bill. Safersupervision.com. Tell your congressman to get it done. Well, the Congress will get it done. The Senate isn't going to get it done, so call them twice, right? They don't get anything done. Visit safersupervision.com. This is a message paid for by the Reform Action Fund. And also, what's very interesting about this is the Senate is now complaining about Pete Hegseth. Just reported in the Hill moments ago that the U.S. Republicans in the Senate are losing confidence in Pete Hegseth. You can't be serious. Like, who on earth has got confidence in the Republican conference in the Senate? Like, nobody. So they're losing confidence in somebody? I have more confidence in the post office delivering my mail in 2 weeks than these clowns getting anything done. Who are they to lose confidence in anybody? They're going on another month-long recess. They haven't done diddly squat. Unbelievable. Anyway, enough of that. Losing confidence in Hegseth. You got to be kidding me. Guy works more in 2 days than these guys work in 6 months. Unbelievable. All right, let's get to the Pennsylvania Posse. It's me. It's Scott Barger. Scott, great to have Scott Barger with us. Scott also House of Representatives member in Pennsylvania District 80. It's the Scott and John Show today. Scott, I tell you what, you're going to pretty soon you're going to get your own show on our network.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Scott Barger Show. Like, forget Fredericks. Let's just go with Scott.
Nah,
You're
there's
just
no
making
replacing
it happen,
John Fredericks.
baby.
Yeah.
You're the man with Scott with us. But I got to bring in Iowa Republican State Chair Jeff Kaufman. Jeff, thanks for being with us. I was on your presser. I think it was Friday, and Kaufman went nuts on this press call. He went ballistic because and he blasted the Democratic Party of Iowa. So he went ballistic because the Democrats pulled out of the Iowa caucus, going to cost Iowa probably, 50, 70 million in economic development. but he said the Iowa Democratic apparatus wouldn't stand up to the feckless Democrats that changed the first primary to South Carolina. They kicked him to the curb, and Kaufman was pissed. Jeff, great to have you with us. You there, Jeff?
Good to be here, John.
Yeah. Okay.
I am there. Yes.
I can't recreate the passion you had on Friday, but you guys got kicked to the curb, and always being the first in the nation caucus, you helped elect Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama. I mean, I could go right down the line with the Democrats that have won Iowa that went on to win the nomination. Hillary Clinton? What happened?
Well, and luckily this is just going to apply to the Democrats. The Republicans are solid. The president was behind us from the very beginning. To the presidential nominating committee for the entire. We're going to make that official actually next month. But Joe Biden in 2020, the poor soul realized he wasn't going to win Iowa. They wanted to start in a state he couldn't bumble himself through. So they bumped out Iowa and started with South Carolina. The only reason being that Biden was going to actually win that. They ended up in the preceding years to the press conference on Friday that they removed the Iowa Democrats from the actual committee that chooses who goes first in the order. And South, they tried to pull the same thing on New Hampshire. New Hampshire just said no. And they basically, they literally just laughed them off. And our Iowa Democratic Party didn't do anything. They absolutely just accepted it. And some kind of the mumblings about how they were going to try the next year. It's been a complete joke. They were never going to be in. They were removed from the committee, and now they itself a rural state in the Midwest with Michigan, which we all know Michigan is Detroit, Lansing, and a little rural area. There's nothing Midwest about Michigan. And so Iowa is just thrown to the curb. Meanwhile, New Hampshire is still in that opening window. Nevada is still in that opening window. And South Carolina, of course, they're going to lead off with South Carolina. And so it's been maddening to see our political party here just completely just abrogate their duties and just go ahead and allow the DNC to do this. We've got to, the argument that they give is, well, Iowa isn't diverse enough. Well, I mean, John, you mentioned the Iowa Democrats, whether I like it or not, the Iowa Democrats gave Barack Obama his boost. There would be no President Barack Obama if Barack Obama would have started any other place but Iowa. He beat Hillary here. And in 2016, obviously, the Iowa Republicans named Ted Cruz a Cuban American. So it's absolutely insane, ridiculous, and politics not grounded in fact to say that somehow Iowans during a caucus cannot vote for the content of the character, but rather vote for purely the color of the skin. We've proven it. We've done. And here's the other thing here's what's sad about the thing. If we really want to look a fifth grader in the eye, I mean, not just metaphor and say, you can be president someday. If we really mean that, you can't start in California. You can't start in Texas. You really can't even start in Michigan. You got to start in states like New Hampshire, like Iowa, so you people can come in, they can live off the land, they don't have to have hundreds of millions of dollars, and they can take a crack at it. And Iowa will give them a chance. We gave, obviously, Donald Trump was very well funded, but Donald Trump won our caucuses twice. On the other hand, Rick Santorum, former senator from Pennsylvania, he did not have a lot of resources. But guess what? Rick Santorum won the caucuses. We're not supposed to pick the president in Iowa. That's not our purpose. What we're supposed to do in Iowa is winnow the field and allow everybody a chance. The Democrats have completely thrown that out on their head. We will go ahead and do it. We will do our job. But it's more difficult when you've got one party that's been a joke in this process, and the other party that's actually going to do it. So that's why I was fired up on Friday.
You were fired up. Let's bring Scott Barger in. Scott, your fellow Pennsylvanian, Rick Santorum, won the Republican Iowa caucuses. I guess that was 2012 by riding around in 99 counties in a pickup truck with that guy. I can't think of his name, but one of the big Iowa GOP consultants out there, Scott somebody. But he rode around in his truck he went to 99 counties. Had no money. They basically paid for gas and Motel 6, and so he wins the Iowa caucuses and became a serious contender, even though Romney tried to steal it by getting in votes that nobody saw at the end and all that nonsense. But what do you think about Iowa getting kicked to the curb by the Democrats?
Well, I will bring my perspective, which is limited from a short-term politician. I've only been in for about a year and a half, and just kind of a newcomer to the process.
But that's your appeal. That's only been in for a year.
I walk in, I'm, what the hell is going on here? This is so strange. But one of the things I've learned in that first year and a half is that when it comes to Democrats, at least in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to assume nationwide, is that really every decision they make is about winning, right? So this decision, they may say it's because of a lack of diversity in Iowa, whatever. They'll say whatever it takes to make the medicine go down easier, but really they did it to win. So that's what they're doing. They talk a good game about grassroots and whatever. Really, they're about winning the White House. Really, they're about winning the majority in the Senate and the Congress. So that is, my guess, would be the actual reason. For me, I think Iowa has, as Jeff was saying, has served a very critical purpose, it kind of function in the process. And that is, you can have a Santorum who didn't win ultimately, but really had a shot on a shoestring budget. And isn't that what we want? The Democrats will complain all day long to anyone who listen that about the corrupting influence of money in our elections. And they're right to be concerned. We should be concerned about that. But this kind of maneuver, I think, centralizes power in states that they have control in. It's not about giving a nobody a shot at winning, which is really what Iowa did. Anybody could do it. If you had a pickup truck and a couple of friends, you had a shot at it. You could go from somebody that no one has ever heard of to the president of the United States. Now, I lived in the Midwest during the rise of Barack Obama, and I lived in the great state of Indiana. And we had heard of this senator coming out of Illinois, and I thought he didn't have a prayer because of his name, right? Because of his name. I thought the people of the United States are never going to elect a guy named Barack Hussein Obama. After all of this stuff we've been dealing with in the Middle East, there's no way he's going to do it. And then Iowa, right? And suddenly he's a real contender. Right. And that, I think, is going to ultimately not serve the Democrat Party well. I think ultimately they pay for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, don't forget the 2008 Iowa caucus. Huckabee won the Iowa caucus, I think, in 2008, Jeff. So you got to go back to that. So, and he became a serious contender right up to when McCain beat him in South Carolina. But Jeff, I mean, your passion here in protecting the state, and basically what a lot of I read over the weekend said, the reason why they scrapped Iowa was because they said diversity was just too white, and they didn't think it represented the makeup of their party, and so therefore it was too racist or something. I mean, how do you react to that, Jeff?
Well, first of all, that's absolutely, because you don't get any more demographically than New Hampshire. But New Hampshire stood up this much about it. The New Hampshire Democrats and the New Hampshire Republicans stood up and literally laughed at the DNC and said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have our contest. The Iowa Democrats could not do that. that they still take their marching orders from California and from New York. And Scott is right. They believe that this is to put in their candidate. Even poor Bernie Sanders, who came out here in 2016, Bernie actually had a chance to win out here. Some people would say that he may actually indeed have won caucus out here, but poor Bernie didn't realize it. The establishment put their foot on the scales, and Hillary came out winning. But ultimately, this is a play by the National Party, which is even more ironic given the fact that the Democratic National Committee is broke. They are absolutely broke. They're a sham. They're a joke. And why in the world state parties at the local level would even pretend to follow their lead? I have no idea. Pete Buttigieg was out here. I'm not a fan. Believe me, he won the caucuses in the last caucus that we had in 2020, and he won them. He's out here. He's campaigning. Do you think he's going to stop campaigning here as long as the Democrats do the right thing? To me, this combines obviously my partisanship. I want Iowa to be strong because I want the Iowa Republican Party to be strong. We're going to be, whether the Democrats. There are processes open to everyone.
Yeah.
What Iowa's about. Sometimes I tell my colleagues in New Hampshire, now be careful with presidents. That's what the first 4 contests are about. If we don't start claims that anybody can be president, are quite frankly bearing without any factual support.
I agree with you. Having gone to Iowa on the on our media bus, 2012, 16, 20, and 24. I don't know how many cycles that is. The best, even though that I think it was 2024 we went, where we got blizzarded in. It was like 40 below, and our whole bus froze, and we were stuck there like 3 days. We couldn't get out of the snowbank. I forget. I think it was 24, but it was the best bus tours that we had because you could just drive around the state, and everything was open, and you could just go off the bus, and people would come on. You could interview all the candidates. I mean, it's very different than any other state's primary or caucus because it's so open and everybody's accessible to everybody. And so it was without a doubt the most fun we ever had. In fact, we went back there last January just to kind of see what was going on for a week, because you got the Congress and the Senate, the governor's race and stuff. But it's such a great state to be in. Why they would kick them forward? But then, like you said, New Hampshire has an amendment that says they have to be the first in the primary. So the Democrats say, well, South Carolina's going to be first, and New Hampshire says, well, we don't care whatever your date is. We're going to be a week ahead of them. So we can keep moving it up until, I don't know, December or November, but we're just going to keep moving it up. So at least they had the moxie to say no, Jeff. You there, Jeff?
Actually, yes. Actually, the Republican-led legislature law that we have to that we have the first caucus, and we define what a caucus is. And of course, the Democrats are saying that we shouldn't do that. We can't do that. That's how I think they're going to try to get around it. The other thing that Democrats out here will attempt to do is change what the caucus is. The nature of the caucus is for people to get together, talk, and then vote, as opposed to a primary where you just vote. Now, it's a lot easier to just vote. My life would be a whole lot easier because the taxpayers pay for the primaries. I raise every dime to pay for the caucuses, but it's more grassroots. It's more of a reflection of what the first in the nation state should be. But what Democrats will do is they're going to try mail-in ballots. They're going to try every single other thing to water that caucus down. So it's almost like that. Then the New Hampshire folks are going to be irritated again. The Democratic Party just can't have a truly grassroots roots where they don't know what the answer is before they have the discussion. They're so used to California telling them what to do. I think they're afraid of a free flow. People will be to the conclusions that indeed they really are crazy with their ideas. AOC really not intelligent. They don't want to have those discussions. So if you have foregone conclusions, then you're safe. You continue this charade that somehow they're the party of the working class. We are seeing the brunt of that right now. And at this point, it's actually going to affect some of the fundamental conclusions of our democracy, which is who can be the leader of the free world.
You know, Scott, what's great about the caucuses, and I've been, like I said, to all those 12 on, so I guess 12, 16, 20, 24, 4 of them. The beauty of it is you have to show up. Like you have to it's not like you physically got to go to your caucus place. You got to physically go. You got to be a registered voter. You got to show up, and then you got to stand in line and talk to people. And a lot of times you'll be standing with one group, and the other group's people come over and try to get you to go to their group. It is a fascinating, Scott, process, which is like you talk about just community at work. Like I remember in the 24 one, it was cold and all that stuff. And like we would, some of the Trump people in the one I was at in Des Moines, we would actually go over to the Santorum people and try to talk them into joining us before it started. And they'd be like, no. And then one guy was like, we're like, well, you can't win. It's kind of us or Haley. Oh, I don't like Haley. Well, come join us. This is like right in the middle of it. I mean, you never get that. And now the Democrats have taken that away. It kind of sucks, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, so you're telling me, guys, that the caucuses require that people show up and have an intelligent conversation before decisions are made? I can't imagine why the Democrats aren't in favor of this. Why wouldn't they want that? I don't get it. But no, it is. I can remember the first time I heard of the Iowa caucus when I was a kid. You know, I was a little bit of a political junkie when I was a kid, and I can remember the first time I heard about that. I didn't understand any of it, but boy, did it look fun. You know, it was like this totally different way of getting at the same objective, and that is which candidate best represents the people in the United States. And I could see why today's Democrat Party doesn't want to let that message out to the hoi polloi, right? They want the consultant class to pick the winners because that's where the control is. And so give us a senator from New York in a predictable primary over some, country bumpkin from the Midwest who comes in on a pickup truck and suddenly resonates with the people of America way more than some oligarch from the Northeast. And that's what I think is great about it. It's not always, as we've talked about, how many people have won a caucus in Iowa and ultimately weren't successful, but it does provide for more competition. I am a competition guy. I think that it's good to have it. The more options that voters have, I think the more likely it is to pick someone who represents what the heart and mind of the people are. So I say good on you, GOP out in Iowa, to keep up the fight. This is a good thing for America, and I think ultimately the Democrats pay a heavy price for skipping the Iowa caucus.
Jeff Kaufman, we got to get you on the phone with Senate Leader John Thune to talk him to keep the Senate in section, right? I mean, you're the guy, right? You're up there fighting for everything, but these caucuses are something else. I'll never forget the one barter in, was it 2016? It can be nefarious too. Ben Carson didn't have enough people at the various precincts. And so Jeff Rowe, who's a consultant for Cruz, and the Cruz people went to all the caucuses without Ben Carson and told everybody he had flyers out that he had dropped out of the race. Completely false. Total lie. But they had nobody there. They had no representative to dispute it. And so Carson people were saying, well, all right, well, if Carson's not in the race, I'll go vote for Cruz. So, you get some of the bad actors in there, but that's how Cruz won. I'll never forget that. So if you could go to a caucus, you got to have your people there representing you in every precinct.
Absolutely.
Jeff Kaufman, you're the man.
President-
Thank you. Jeff, I'm going to give you the final word, Jeff. Go ahead.
30 degrees below zero wind chill. Washington Republicans went out to vote. We're willing to do the work on behalf of the rest of the country. We'll do again in 28 with or without the. Yes.
Jeff Kaufman, Chairman, GOP Iowa, kicking ass and taking names. Jeff, thanks for being with us. Always good to have your passion and spirit on a Monday. And your presser on Friday it's an all-time epic classic. As Scott, as he was going on, he got madder. I never see that happen. Like he started off talking, and then he just wound himself up. And finally, they just ended it.
And on a high note. And on a high note.
Press conference ever. Jeff, thanks for being with us. Scott and I are going to come right back, talk a little Pennsylvania business. It's the John Fredericks and Scott Barker Show. Keep it right here.
Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Okay, Danny boy, you outdid yourself. Great clip. Vikings going crazy when Brett Favre, all he's got to do is run the football and win the game. He throws a pick. Almost as bad as at Pete Carroll in Seattle when all they had to do was give it to the best running back of the decade to get a half a yard to win the game. They throw an interception. Unbelievable. So we're back at Pennsylvania Posse. It's the John and Scotty Show. Scott Barger with us, Pennsylvania 80, House of Representatives member. I always got that mixed up. So Scott, your buddy Hakeem Jeffries, well, he's coming to Pennsylvania this afternoon. He's set to speak in Lehigh Valley. He's going to kick off 100 days to the midterms. He's got Josh Shapiro's with him. He's all excited. He's got House Democratic candidate Bob Brooks, fighter union leader who's challenging Ryan McKenzie in the 7th. He said that MAGA Republicans can find money for Donald Trump's reckless war of choice in Iran, but he can't find money for gas and other things that family needs. And he's for free health care and free child care and free food and free grocery stores and free. and whatever else he's babbling about. But he's coming to the Keystone States there. Scotty, your buddy, what do you think?
Well, I think that obviously the Dems have a push. It's 100 days out to the midterms. They are expecting, I think, hoping for a blue wave that I've been saying for months I don't think is going to come. It doesn't mean that Republicans can sit on our laurels and do no work. We have to do the work. But I think that ultimately there's no substance to the Democrat message. This "we hate Trump, anything but Trump" kind of approach to politicking, I think, ultimately falls short. Pennsylvanians who already think that way are already voting that way, so you're not convincing anybody. What you have to do is present them with a plan of, okay, this is what we're going to do that's different. And I don't think that Josh Shapiro is showing that. I think he is a consummate liar who will just say whatever it takes to win a room. I don't think that they have the record to point to that they're going amazingly here in the Commonwealth. I don't think that they have real world solutions for the affordability crisis. I think that Governor Shapiro was on the wrong side of the data center issue. Remember, it was a year ago, last June, that he was running around the state giving himself a victory parade for bringing in all this data center development. And then the winds in the Commonwealth changed direction and people are very against these things. And he's having a hard time putting that toothpaste back in the tube. And then now House Democrats have basically scuttled an attempt to meet a Supreme Court deadline for resentencing for second-degree felons. And it's showing, I think, that they don't have a plan, John. I don't think they have a plan. I don't think they have a platform to speak of other than to, like you say, to offer everybody everything all the time and to tell people that, hey, things are going really well here in Pennsylvania. Look, but there's nothing to look at. What are you going to look at? Philadelphia, the crime rate in Philadelphia? What are you going to look at? Other states are growing faster than we are, right? There's just not enough proof in the pudding to substantiate a Democrat platform or the validity of a Democrat platform here in the Commonwealth. So obviously we're important. That's why they're spending money here. But I don't know. I don't see it. I don't trust what they're pointing at. They claim victories when they do. I don't believe that they tell the truth. And so, I think this is just going to amp up for the next 100 days. I think it's going to get nasty coming up in the next couple of months.
Scott, do you agree with me? I think the House runs through Pennsylvania. I mean, we got 4 vulnerable seats. Scott Perry being number 1, Fitzpatrick always vulnerable, Bucks County number 2, Bresnahan number 3, and McKinsey number 4. We win 3 of those 4 seats. I think you hold the House. You lose all 4, we're doomed. We could also win all 4, or it could be split. But if I had to bet right now, I think you're going to win them all. And if you win these seats and we win the 2 that are up, that are toss-ups in Virginia, which I also am confident Republicans are going to win, Whitman first and Kiggins in Virginia Beach, that's 6 seats they're looking to pick up. We hold those 6 seats. They're not going to be in the majority, Scott.
I would tend to agree, John. I think, and what I would add to that is, remember, now this is just, again, my outsider perspective, newcomer. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I'm just some guy from central Pennsylvania who shows up in the state capitol and starts making observations. But it appears to me that everything that our governor does is with the White House in mind. Yeah. And I think that he is doubling down on these races, I think, because he needs to show on a national stage that he can deliver down ballot, right? That he's a lifter of the ticket. So he needs to win. It's not enough for him to win a race where people have been calling him the front runner since before he knew what his opponent was, right? Right. Although I don't think that's in the bag either. I think Stacey Garrity's coming on strong. The evidence for that is suddenly the Democrat Party in Pennsylvania is paying more attention to her and trying to run her down. But I think he needs to show that he can produce results down ballot. That's why this push. If he just wins his race, which I think is debatable, I really do, and everywhere else he's not successful, that hurts his chances for the White House. And I'm telling you folks, I'll tell your audience, I know that the ones in Pennsylvania probably already know this. He is running for president. All of this is just the precursor to that end. So that's the way I interpret this behavior. And I think he needs to show that he can bolster the ticket, and that's what they're trying to do.
Scott Barger with us, House of Representatives, a freshman. So we love to get his perspective. District 80, Pennsylvania, Republican. Let's get to, he makes up the entire Pennsylvania posse today. Let's get to the phone lines. We got line 2 is Murray in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Murray, go ahead. You're live.
Hi, good morning, guys. I read an article in the newspaper many years, 5-6 years ago, that under the Pennsylvania Constitution, the state cannot borrow money, but agencies can. And that is why they have strapped the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission with massive amounts of debt, and that is why they raised the fee on the turnpike to these crazy amounts of money and scheduled every year as far out in the future as we can see. Is there any truth to that? I believe it was an AP article. If someone's that concerned about it, I'm sure they can find it on a computer. And can anybody do anything about this and stop this crazy governor?
That I'm not sure. I've heard this, but I would have to double check, because one of the first bits of homework I was given is to read the Pennsylvania State Constitution, which isn't an easy read, right? You read it and you try to remember and understand all of it. I'd have to double check that part, but I've heard this as well. I do know, and this I don't need to check on, that we play financial shell games all the time in the state legislature. Remember, we're running about $4 or $5 billion in the red every year. And what I mean is we're spending $4 or $5 billion more than our revenue every year. Okay, we call that a structural deficit. And the way they've been paying for it is by going to unused funds that they find everywhere. It's kind of like going through your couch cushions, right? Looking for spare change. That's what we've been doing since Shapiro's been governor, trying to close that gap. And we're running out of options. This year, the option they chose is we're just not going to pay all of our bills this year. We're just going to pay a penalty and pay all the bills next fiscal year. There's only so many of those tactics that we can do, because I do know that by law, by Constitution, we have to have a balanced budget. But the way that they balance the budget is basically, so far, has been spending money that they find laying around, delaying payment of their obligations, and sometimes even exaggerating on how much the revenue is. And remember, the budgets, they operate like the budget's a suggestion, John. We gave the Speaker of the House $1 million extra to run her office retroactively from last year. She just went over her budget. Yeah, they're suggestions, right? So it's not like we're fiscally responsible body of legislators at all. So would it surprise me to learn that to get around a technicality that they're having agencies borrow money and go into debt? No, that wouldn't surprise me at all, because that sounds like exactly what we would do to balance a budget, because the last thing that we're willing to do, apparently, is cut spending.
How do you overrun your speaker's office by $1 million? Is that like staff and stuff?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
How do you do that?
It's
like 10,000. I get it. Like $1 million.
Listen, I'm running under
$100,000 a month.
I'm running under budget in my office by about 40%. And to the point that the gals back home are saying, maybe we should get the new photocopier. I'm like, nah, this one will work for another year. Just give it a kick; it'll be fine. And yet our speaker can just spend money, and it just, I think there's a different view of it, John. That there's a small town pragmatic view of money that I think a lot of Pennsylvanians have, which is, hey, don't be a dummy. Don't spend more money than what you make. That's just the way everyone has to live, right? We all have to live that way. Mm-hmm. And yet there's another political view is like, well, it doesn't really matter. It's not, we can spend. The money's always been there before. For example, we fought hard in the House of Representatives to communicate to the people and to our colleagues in the legislature not to touch the rainy day fund, right? We have, how much is it? 6 or 7 billion set aside of taxpayer dollars, not our money. It's not our money. It's the people's money set aside to help them in case of an emergency, right?
Emergencies happen.
Because it happens. And so we didn't, the plan was to burn through that this last budget cycle by about 60%, and which would have us with no emergency fund in 2 years. And we thought that that was an absolute deal breaker. And so 43 of us, I think 43, 44 signed a letter saying we would not support any budget that used the rainy day fund for anything other than an emergency or to give the money back to the people. Because, if we can't be trusted to do right by the people, just give them the money back and they can have their own emergency fund. So we won that battle for 1 year, but boy, it's going to be tough next year because like I said, we're running out of little hidden pockets of money to go to, and there's no political willpower.
And accounting tricks. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Shell games. Hey,
it's like the National Democratic Party. There was a story out yesterday that they're just moving money around, and they basically called all their vendors and said, don't send us, not don't pay it, we're not going to pay it. Don't send us an invoice until after the midterms. Well, as soon as you, as a public entity that has to file, as soon as you get an invoice, you have got to put it in there. Mm-hmm. So even if it's not paid. So they said, don't send us, do the work for, 5 months, then send us a bill in December. That's insane because the money's being spent and you're just not paying your vendors.
Yeah, it
masks your debt.
Yep. It's dishonest. It's far better as politicians, as elected officials. If we're in debt, it's far better for us to say we're in debt. If we're broke, it's far better for us to say, hey, we're broke. Give the people the truth. That's what they expect. That's what they should expect, is that we would tell them the truth. And yet what I'm seeing, John, is that there is a willingness to really bend the truth to fit whatever messaging we need to put out there to get elected again. And that, I think, ultimately doesn't serve the people of Pennsylvania very well at all.
No doubt about it. Scott Barger with us. Scott, Representative District 80, Republican, freshman. Let's get to another caller. Line 1, we've got Rob in New York. Rob, you're live. Go.
Hey, John. Good morning. I love these Pennsylvania spots because Pennsylvania, to me, is really one of the perfect states in this country because it's got a lot of really solid working people and it's just like what America was all about, that history of really hard work and determination. So it's great to hear great to hear these spots. And I just hope that state does not go like the way New York has gone. That's what I had to say this morning.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's always a little bit of fear, Rob, that's what will happen. We're maybe the most thinly divided state politically in the union. You have a Democrat governor, you have a Republican-controlled Senate by just a couple of seats, you have a Democrat-controlled House by 1 seat. That is a narrow margin. It's about as 50-50 as you can get. And when people worry about how Pennsylvania is going to go, I point that out. I say, look, there are a lot of Pennsylvanians who are conservative leaning. And the Democrat Party is doing themselves no favor by tacking so far to the left. I have talked to more than a couple, what I would call blue dog Democrats, John, blue dog Democrats, the old, like my grandfather, who was a railroad union guy, Democrat. Those people feel left out of the modern Democrat Party. They feel left behind. The party has left them behind. And we're a lot more aligned with them than what we would have been maybe 30 years ago, right? And that's because the Democrats have moved so far left. So unless they learn that lesson that they need to stay away from the toxic left, I think we're going to be okay here in Pennsylvania. If they decide that they have gone off path and they need to become more pragmatically moderate, it'll be a challenge. But When I see them electing outright communists, John, that bodes well for people, I think, here in Pennsylvania. In fact, there's a couple of races and districts around mine where the challenging Democrat was nowhere close to a moderate blue dog Democrat. They were as socialist as any, trying to run in rural Pennsylvania. So that tells me the Democrats have no desire to represent the average guy. What Rob was talking about, the working class guy, just the trying to provide for his family. They're not interested in that.
Rob, thank you. Let's get to Mel in Saratoga Springs, New York. Mel, you're live with the Pennsylvania Posse.
Oh, yes. Good morning, John, and to your guest. But just to get off topic just a little bit, you were talking about John Thune and these guys taking breaks for the summer. I'm in a district. I'm a Republican, and I'm in the district of Paul Tonko and Kirsten Gillibrand. You said go and complain to your representative. How can I complain to them? It's like talking to a telephone pole. Talk to those two Democrats with a P on the end. But what do I do in that case? Who do I complain to? Because those guys ain't worth two dead flies.
So, what was I saying, John, about the American people like truth? They just tell it like it is. That's what we want to hear. Listen,
they're not worth. What did you say? They're not worth, Mel? Two dead flies? I never heard that one.
So this is something I tell people. It was advice given to me, an observation about the American politic that has rung very true, and I've seen it to be true over and over again. Remember that your elected official, no matter if it's Republican or Democrat, chances are they really only care about one thing, and that is get elected. And so if you want them to change their mind on something, you have to convince them as the voter that if they don't change their mind, they will not get reelected. That is really the job of grassroots politicking, is to make it clear that if this issue, regardless of the issue, whether it's the SAVE Act nationally or it's something, statewide here in Pennsylvania, if you want an elected official to change their position, you have to make them afraid of losing their position.
That's the only way it works.
That's it.
That's all that matters. Yep. Well, it's been the John and Scott show. I think this has got legs. I think we're going to take it on the road in Pennsylvania. I think we're going to go all over the state.
In the bus.
We'll call it the John and Scotty show. I think it's got legs. But Scott, I want to thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a trooper, and thank you for indulging me with Jeff Kaufman in Iowa.
Of course.
He went nuts on Friday. It was so fun. These are really good guys. They're salt of the earth. I'm 68, Scott, and people that are the salt of the earth, I love them because you get a lot of phonies out there. Trust me. But okay, I got to get back as we go out. Dan, you got to play the Vikings announcers again, going absolutely crazy when they lost the chance to play the Super Bowl because Brett Favre throws a pass when all he's got to do is hand the ball off, get 3 yards, and kick a field goal in the dome. Game over. They go to the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Roll it, and we'll get out with that.
That play, he should have just held on to it, Paul. He should have. He could have easily gotten 5 or 6 yards.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester,